Hello and welcome to the 90MinuteCynic football podcast. I'm the Kaiser, Chris Gallagher, and I'm joined by Kevin Gillespie, as always.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Bryan McManus.
Hello.
Christopher Sermanni making his debut.
Word up.
And Boudy, Tiberius Boud.
Everybody sing.
Yeah, good. So we're doing a podcast for the first time in quite a while. I think the last one was...
About 3 days.
Last one was in January. And
fucking January.
And as you can fucking tell, we're allowed to swear. This will be an explicit podcast. So if you get any...
Cunty bars.
Sexually explicit. You're more.
Right, okay, well, let's count.
It will be age appropriate, so if you've got any under 12s listening, you know what to do.
And yeah, don't let them listen.
Yeah. What did you think I was going to say?
Right, okay, so we're going to start with a question. The question is a Celtic-based question. We're all Celtic fans, we don't make any bones about it. What players have, when they've played for Celtic, you've disliked them? So it's not when players have left Celtic. For example, Paulo Di Canio, I don't like him because of his politics. I don't like George Cadet because he's a twat. So, what players have you disliked when they were at Celtic? Is anyone... Bryan McManus?
Yeah, straight in. Scott McDonald. We arsehole. Hated him. Despised him.
Really?
Totally and utterly, aye.
Whilst he played for Celtic?
Yes. Simply because he was a lazy, moany wee bastard.
The guy who scored all those goals?
Aye, that was fine. I enjoyed the goals that he scored against like Man U and Rangers and stuff, but he was just a cunt, as soon as we can see it.
I didn't like when he did moan a lot, and you're like, why are you moaning? But he's still scoring goals.
No, but the one that really tipped me over the edge was, I think it was an away game, the Champions League, and we were playing, is it Aalborg maybe? Or Copenhagen, I don't know where away, and he lost the ball in their half and just fell over. Tried to get a free kick. It was the worst dive ever, and they ran up the park and scored. So I hate Scott McDonald.
To be fair, he's Australian, and the only Australian I properly know is a total dick. So
yeah,
it goes without saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Does anyone else have Chris? Your thoughts on it, or?
I didn't hate Scott McDonald, but I can understand that.
Yes.
Jerry Craney. I despise Jerry Craney.
Why?
No, listen. Right.
He's got a story.
Jerry Craney is...
Did he sign a number of top ones for you?
At one time.
Different player. No, Jerry Craney was pish, man. He really was. McStay, we were talking about McStay earlier on, one of my all-time heroes, right? Great passer of the football. He'd play it through to Craney's feet. He'd screw it wide like the wank that he is. And McStay, he'd turn around and start screaming at McStay. The gentleman that he is, he would turn around and silently shake his head. Oh, he was just...
How can you hate Jerry Craney? That was a time when we...
like Jerry Craney?
No, I get that, but I don't like Jerry Craney, but I don't necessarily have that level of... I wouldn't even have thought of Jerry Craney.
Oh, Jesus, man.
That's like saying you don't like Tony Shepherd.
Tony, we're going before my time here. You know what I mean? No,
Chris, tell the story about that you told us in the pub about the sports day at your school.
Does anyone remember John O'Neill? No, you fucking don't, because he never...
John O'Neill doesn't remember John O'Neill.
Went to primary school, went to Boud actually, and there was a...
In the school, it's okay.
St Mirren's. Jimmy Savile never visited it.
Were you in the A football team or the B football team?
I was in the A team.
They never had a football team.
Oh, no, they were that good. They had an A team and a B team, and the B team sometimes...
Not necessarily that good, they had that many pupils.
Yeah.
Take it we're going to edit this, but anyway, John O'Neill, we were promised a Celtic player to come, and go, I play for Celtic. He signed a lot of plastic flyaway balls. It was John O'Neill, no he did. And the star prize was an Umbro football top. By John O'Neill, who was a player that he never actually played for the first team.
Because Jerry Craney kept him out.
Jerry Craney kept him out.
Was it a Celtic Umbro top that he signed, or just an actual Umbro top?
It was a grey and black Umbro top.
Which was better than the brown and yellow uniform we had to wear.
That's right, yeah. Our uniform looked like someone had taken a shit on your chest, man.
And mixed it with some piss.
Chris Boud, you're making big waves there. What's your player that you didn't like?
I thought you was reminiscent of school.
That's a hard one for me, because we kind of came up with these questions, and the caveat that you had to have hated them whilst they were at the club wasn't there. So Paulo Di Canio and Craig Burley were my automatic answers.
Yeah. I like Craig Burley when he was at the club.
But that season, Burley, it was
Burley
just
and Lambert were fantastic.
outstanding.
But ultimately, he's a cock.
Yes.
It's a horrible, horrible cock. I don't think his children like.
Has he been
Burley.
sacked off the telly now?
No, he's moved to America.
He got a fucking promotion.
He got a
Has he?
big contract to NBC in America. I mean, NBC have got the Premiership. I
So
guess, now.
basically, guys like Michael Chapman will be sitting listening to Craig Burley just now.
Yeah, and
I bet he loves Craig Burley.
I love it. It's pure good. Boud, thoughts?
I'm starting to hate Beram Kyle. But then I don't know. Do I blame him for getting picked?
It's not his fault that he's a really, really poor footballer who's getting picked.
But that you don't dislike someone just because they're a bad player. Because as
I
a Celtic
didn't at
fan,
first.
you've seen
I just
hundreds
wanted
of
them to
bad
be good,
players.
But my point with I know I'm jumping on your point, but my point with Kyle is he thinks he's a ticket, and you can tell the way he plays and the way
He does think he's a ticket.
You could see him hanging about Govan Hill, man,
I mean, we talked about Vidar Ryseth earlier on, and Vidar Ryseth, who I actually thought wasn't the worst, but Vidar.
Do you mean Vida?
Aye, who the fuck's Vidar?
Vidar reset.
Is that not a hairdresser?
Do you know what?
Vidar Sassoon.
I completely take that on board. You're all completely right to criticise me for that. But Ryseth wasn't very good.
Fucking reset.
The Norwegian guy wasn't very good, but see, ultimately he did give 100%, and he
He
looked.
nearly killed Rod Wallace, which is fucking
No,
amazing.
was it not Claudio Reyna?
Both of them, probably in
Claudio
the same
Reyna
tackle.
was a peach. He didn't even wait for the card, they just walked off.
Rod Wallace was on the pitch. Claudio Reyna was later on, or whatever, vice versa. But so, Kyle, for you, Chris.
Yeah, I might come back to you once other people have answered. We'll still take time to chew over this question. But yeah, for the moment, Kyle.
Kevin, I'm looking at you. You're chomping at the bit.
No, it's just gas, don't worry. Reggie Blinker. I really didn't like Reggie Blinker, and it all stemmed from when he shat it.
Croatia's Zagreb, wasn't it?
He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper and just completely bricked it. And I thought to myself, if that's... Because it was fairly early in the season.
It was the Champions League qualifier.
So it was
when
one of his...
Viduka was playing
yeah,
for them.
one of his first games.
Yep.
And you're thinking to yourself...
He'd been there,
Dick,
but
is what you thought.
He'd been there before Croatia Zagreb, so it wasn't one of his first games, but he was.
Oh.
He would have been playing in that game.
This
That-
was that Venglos' season?
No, that was yeah. No, was it, actually, who was it?
No, he was signed.
Janssen signed him.
Janssen
Janssen
signed
signed him.
him,
And
yeah.
Janssen chucked it. And it was
He was traded.
Venglos. It must have been Venglos.
Aye, okay, but that's the game. Jonathan Gould in Croatia was just. We lost 3-0, but it could have been like.
Well, that
10-0.
no, but I think we were losing 1-0 at this point, and Blinker was
he was
straight
right
through.
in the keeper, and the keeper came out. As far as I remember, I don't exactly say he was an imposing goalkeeper or anything like this, but he just bricked it completely, and I thought to myself,
Fuck you.
there's a lot of people that would that see wearing the hoops as an absolute privilege.
Yeah.
But you fucking knob, you've shat it, and at that particular point in time, early on in the game, that could have been us one each back into the game.
Rattled them a wee bit, maybe. Just
Completely different result, but nah. So after that, I was going to say it took a lot for me to try and get him back on side, but no, he never get back on side. He was a dick.
No, just not very good. Boud, have you anyone else to add, or is there any?
I didn't really dislike him, but when Bryan O'Neill fell on his arse to let Laudrup score...
That's
I
a mistake.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
a
but
mistake.
there was a moment of hatred there.
And O'Neill-
Overall, no, I didn't hate Bryan O'Neill. but-
The one of the things about O'Neill that I didn't like is
It's Brian or John.
both. Bryan O'Neill, I thought he was going to be superb. Even as a kid and
Captain Scotland under 16s at Hampden against Saudi Arabian under 70s.
John O'Neill was currently with Auchinleck Talbot.
Are you sure it's not the Hibs John O'Neill?
No, this is the. This is
that
I'm
a
pretty sure this is
junior
the right
team?
one.
Is there a
I
section
wish we had
on
somewhere we
Wikipedia?
could find out
I am on
information about
Wikipedia,
junior
yeah.
teams.
Section about St Mirren's primary open day.
That
It's in
actually
his bio.
that takes you to a separate page. They've got a page for.
Did they mention the teacher that? Can we talk about
Yeah, we
her
can.
murdering
Go.
her husband?
The teacher,
Allegedly.
The teacher. No, I think
she's in jail for that.
we could put links on the website if he actually kind of murdered.
This sounds like a great school.
St Mirren, where is
Hey, don't slag off St Mirren.
it? Croftfoot, is it?
Me and Sermanni will take you.
Young
What?
state.
Is that the,
St Mirren young team. What a state.
okay, so that's great that we've touched on that. There'll be a quick.
He
Sorry,
did actually play for St Mirren. I can confirm John O'Neill played for the team St Mirren. So
Wait a second.
So looking at there's going to be a question we can think about whether we'll actually touch this. It's maybe going to be an article at some point. The best right back of all time.
Danny McGrain. End of discussion.
Do anyone want to comment on Danny McGrain being the best right back of all time?
It's because he was a left back.
That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
But
He was a right back, and he played at left back for Scotland. He was a right back.
Yeah,
I
but
know
it
because I was at Sandy Jardin. Who
Yeah.
wasn't half the
But
player.
that's like saying Adam Matthews is a left back when he's not. He's a right back, but he plays in left back position.
Danny McGrain was a right back. He wore number 2. That's
The good old days, Brian. The good old days when you could define a player by the number on his
exactly.
back.
That's it.
I like your
End
thinking
of
there.
discussion.
These youngsters,
I know,
they
they
know
don't know.
squad players. They don't know the 1 to
He was a
11
number
scenario.
73.
Anyway, so this conversation's absolutely killing me, to be honest. I know it's a joke. But so Celtic won today 2-0 at Pittodrie.
So we're not doing the best right back then?
No, but we'll come back to that later on. It's just something.
When we're drunk?
Yeah, when we're drunker.
Right.
And Danny McGrain will actually probably will be more legitimate when we're drunker. But anyway, so Aberdeen 0, Celtic 2. Goals coming from Chris Common's penalty and a goal from... Who scored the second?
James Forrest.
James Forrest. That's
Kind of.
Kind of.
That was a bit of a fluke, wasn't it?
It was, as I was saying to Chris and Kevin earlier on, like if you looked at that, the replay showed him, and it was from behind the goals, and it was just his head was down. All he thought was, my head is down. He didn't look to see the back post, didn't look to see who was in the middle. His head down and hit it, and it just took a deflection and it went in. So we all watched the game. Is that correct? Yeah, accurate.
Most of it.
Kevin, talk me through what your thoughts on it, just from the game overall.
Done what you had to do to win a game of football. The important thing was, for me, is hopefully not even the result. The result, genuinely, I think, was irrelevant. Takes a little bit to say that because you obviously want Celtic to win every game, but it wasn't the most important thing to come out of it. Most important thing is everybody's hopefully fresh and available for Tuesday, because I think Tuesday was far, far more important. If we get beat, we get beat, and I've said fine, shrugged my shoulders and just moved on with that. But 2-0. If Aberdeen's going to be your biggest challenger of the season, which a lot of people have said they will be, again, the league's going to be won as a canter, so no worries there.
Yeah, Chris, what were your kind of takes on the game overall?
I thought after they scored the goal and Langfield get sent off, it was kind of clear that there wasn't as much urgency as normal. I got that feeling in the second half. There was one eye on Tuesday. As Kevin said, we'd done enough to win the game. I don't think we were seriously threatened. Aberdeen, I think you'd mentioned it earlier, didn't look too impressive up front. Yeah. So I think we've done enough. I'm glad we got the win, because beforehand I was prepared to kind of write it off, if you know what I mean. Because at the end of the season, this isn't really going to have a bearing on what we do. So I'm happy enough with it.
Positive. Bryan, what did you think of the kind of lineup, the players that were picked? Considering we did the radio show on Thursday and we talked about how we thought it would be likely there would be a lot more youngsters involved, but it seemed quite, the first team basically. Sermanni playing.
Yeah.
It was good to see Moyakolo. We'll talk about him in a moment because I know there's a few kind of reservations about him. But what did you think of the kind of selection, the team selection overall?
Ultimately, because we debated it back and forward, where you play your first team and give them game time, or you play the youngsters to wrap the first team up in cotton wool. You could have made an argument for both, but yeah, I was relatively happy with the starting lineup. Absolutely fine. They could have. I don't like Sammy being the main man up top. I know we get that from him in Europe, but it's not his most effective position. So, but in terms of if Stokes was injured and Boud was injured, then Tony Watt wasn't even on the bench, was he? Was he?
He was on the bench.
It may have been an idea to start Watt. That would maybe have been my only change.
That's something we talked about. I mean, if he did start Watt, would they play him on the left? Because he's been doing that a lot recently.
Well, Celtic, there was a huge period of the game where Celtic seemed to, other than Sammy, but we don't really know where his position was, they didn't really have a forward. So, and it wasn't as if we were being Barcelona.
I'd agree with you that. We actually, the wording that we used was, well, I said Barcelona type and Chris said Spain type, where there was a regular period in time when Scott Brown was actually the most forward player.
I'd call that Scotland under Levine type.
Yeah. Boud, you're obviously a huge Scott Brown fan. I thought today he was excellent.
Yes, as always, Chris.
Yes.
He was excellent Wednesday, actually.
I thought watching. the Scotland, England, obviously we've covered, but I didn't think he looked out of place in that pitch, and obviously like Whittaker and Hutton and all those
Did.
fucking no marks, frankly.
Ex-Huns.
Well, there you go. You're allowed to say that, by the way.
The good thing is, see if we listen back to it, see if we ever do this 90 minutes Cynic
2
Gold.
seconds, Chris. Once a Hun, always a Hun. Doesn't matter for ex-Huns. Once a Hun, always a Hun.
Stand
Well, if we
for
do
it,
listen to 90 minutes Cynic Gold, where I think it was a couple of us sticking up for Scott Brown many moons ago, and we were chastised for it. So it's nice to see you.
High five, Bryan.
Yep.
No. Scott Brown, players deserve to get. You don't back up. I'm not saying it's not about backing. It's if a player's not playing well, they deserve to get
But
criticised.
he was playing well. You just picked
No,
on
he
him.
wasn't. He was poor. That's the point. He's improved his game. He was. Go back and watch those games. Boud,
Yes, let's.
Boud, what are your thoughts on how Celtic looked from the point of view of how we're going to play on Tuesday? Do you think they'll be the same sort of formation, or will they bring a Baldy? Will Dirk play? I mean, what's the... he's obviously... I don't know if he's travelled with the squad or what, but what are your thoughts on how Celtic will line up?
I'd be surprised if Dirk played, but you never know. But fitness-wise, is I don't think that would be. I don't think that would be wise. You see, is it a case of he's resting Baldy? Personally, if he's planning to play Baldy, I would have liked to have seen him play today. So, to be honest, I don't think the lineup we've seen today will be hugely changed from what he'll go with Tuesday. Regards to the game itself, I thought we did, as everyone's saying, we did enough. First half, I thought Aberdeen were. It wasn't, it wasn't set in stone we're going to win, but as soon as Sammy got that penalty, and that's exactly what he done. Might be Combs that scored the goal, but Sammy broke into the box, did enough to get the penalty from the keeper.
Was it a penalty? Because as far as Gary McAllister said, it was a dive? Or?
No, I said he was looking for it, I think. Well, I don't think it... Langfield was... I think it was Anderson who basically knew he was fucked, whereas Langfield stupidly brought him down. Like, he knew he was going off as fucking idiot goalkeeping.
If you, personally speaking, I think Anderson done the right thing, because I think Anderson could have taken him down quite easily, but realised, well, let's see what pans out, which is actually quite intelligent of a centre half.
That's also Anderson.
Where you turn around and say, look, let's see how it pans out. If a goal gets scored, at least we've got 11 against 11. So he let it go, because you don't know what's going to happen with it. But I think when Langfield looks back at it and sees the heavy touch that Sammy took, Sammy's not getting that at all. Even if Langfield is lying on his backside there's two people going on, there's two defenders going on to the 6-yard line. If Sammy does get there, he's got a hell of a lot to do to try and score a goal.
You're absolutely right. Saying that was McAllister's point. He took a heavy touch, so he was like, he's taking a heavy touch, that's no a penalty. I mean, he still brought him down. No, that is what it was. I mean, he got all excited and basically came in his pants.
And then Chris Commons showed McAllister how to take a penalty.
Oh, boom.
Up, yeah.
Yes. But just, Kevin, you were saying, what was the Chris Commons interview afterwards? What did he say? Because
he was questioned afterwards by some bird asking questions about football.
Okay, can we can't?
No, but seriously, she just asked stupid questions. That honestly,
They start, hi Chris.
how are you? Can I see a new tattoo, please?
Oh, can we
honestly,
not do
that's genuinely the sort of quality questions. But she asked him a question about how difficult a first half it was and how much pressure Aberdeen put them under, and it was such a difficult game. And Chris Commons, rightly so, turned around and just says, "No, love."
Dear.
Never.
Did he slap her arse at the end of that?
He called her sweet cheek, so he did, and she walked off and said, "Phone me." But no,
it's not Stephen Gerrard's wife he's talking about. Come on,
but no, it was a silly question. Or in his eyes, he disagreed with the question, but I like the way he actually answered. He turned around and saying, "No, we dominated the game. We were in charge of the game the whole time." And I'm actually quite liking this, because what I dislike is sort of
pandering.
Just is PC answering to questions where you turn around and go, yeah, you're right, it was a tough game, and we worked for 90 minutes, it was a game of two halves.
Cliches, do you mean?
Precisely, very much that, but he just turns around and says, "No, I disagree. No. We dominated them, we bossed them."
The EDL say that as well, Kev, they don't like that PC answer.
Well, yeah, they're also really sexist and misogynistic. I mean, it was a great victory, obviously. It's our nearest. You got to assume. Well, I'll ask you, Chris. They're going to be our nearest rivals, aren't they?
Inverness, surely.
Aberdeen, Motherwell, I think will push. But that's your two. That's your two big threats.
Motherwell have Stephen McManus as a defender who gives away a penalty or two per game. So
I think Inverness have played 3-1-3, not lost a goal and scored 6.
Aye, but Terry Butcher's the manager, so fuck it.
But Inverness have gradually get better and better. I think they'll be our main challengers this year. Although I love to see the fact Pittodrie was full today and they got the fans back.
I mean,
that's what Aberdeen should be getting, because Aberdeen should be the second club.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. I mean, Kevin, it's not even like a city, it's like a county, Aberdeenshire. You know, that's the only club there. You know, I don't know how many people are in it, but it's more, put it this way, they should be filling maybe 30, 40,000, even if the team aren't doing very well.
Aberdeen have got a pretty loyal fan base. When they come down to Celtic Park, they're generally
travelling fan base.
Always a really good travelling support. And I think they're one of the teams, similar to how I feel about Dundee United, where just going back to when they were doing well in Europe, they're one of those teams you just like. I mean, I don't. And the fact that Aberdeen fucking hated the Huns, which was amazing as well.
That's the only reason you like them.
Past tense.
I think they spoke about it in the day's game, about the snowball incident. Well,
who was that? Was that McGideon? Huh?
It was they just started throwing the snowballs, and you don't get that in many games of football where the fans start throwing snowballs at players, and I like that. I agree. I think we would all like to see Aberdeen get back to where we were. But the bit what you were saying there at the start, Chris, was I was gobsmacked at how small Pittodrie was. 20,000 or 22,000 or whatever it is, and that's class is a big. Their class is a big club. But yeah, I honestly thought they'd be getting a bigger stadium, and as you say there, with the geographical ability to grasp people, because there's no other clubs there, they should be able to get more fans in there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a positive forward move, not forward move, but it's a positive move, the fact that there are 20,000 turning up, so they're filling out their stadium, which is good. Armageddon be damned. Overall, their team, and this is the point I would make, when you don't have Chris Clark in your team, you will struggle, because Chris Clark, as we know, is one of the greatest footballers of all time.
Genuinely, if he was Brazilian, he'd be called Chris Clarkino. How good are Aberdeen in the grand scheme of things, Chris? Chris, how good is Chris Clark in the grand scheme of things beforehand?
Well, Chris Clark ever come to your school?
Did he ever sign a number up?
Chris Clark did come to my school. He died.
Well, it's not that Chris
3
Clark.
days later, he rose again.
Well, there you go, because he is.
And then he played centre half for Aberdeen. Does he? I don't even fucking know. Right? But anyway, how good are Aberdeen? I was actually thinking this before the game today. They were kind of building them up a wee bit too much, and this is a team that's underachieved for nigh on 20 years.
Yeah.
And today they've been building them up as being our, nearest challengers. I said it when I was on the radio show a few weeks ago. I thought they would finish second, but you need to give them a bit of time. I mean, they've signed a few good players this season. Their manager's a bit better than it has been, but. They kind of take us on. Put it that way,
Finishing second, and this might not come out right, doesn't necessarily mean that that's your nearest challenger, though, because you can be so far in front of them that it just means you're the best of the rest. And
I'll still be our nearest challenger, though.
Numerically,
there is a team that beat, at least one team that beat all the others this year, so they're up there, and there is a chance, because it was finished for. LA.
That's exactly what it's all about. I mean, they always focus on the games against us, and they really need to be beating everybody else, as opposed to giving us a game. However many times a season, they need to be consistently beating all the other teams.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. Like I know you're saying about how last season Motherwell, I don't know how many points, 15, 17 points to finish behind us. Whoever is second is going to be 15, 17 points behind us ultimately. There's no...
But potentially, that's what I mean, though.
If you take... I know this is a cliche. If you take Celtic out of the league, it's a very competitive league and you wouldn't know who wins it. But it is the SPL and then it's Celtic. And it's, the amount of wages we pay, the players we have, everyone's an international, basically. We're always going it, and if we didn't, then, to be fair, it would be an absolute scandal.
Yeah, but you want it down to at least a couple of weeks before the split. are even up next to the split. I mean, because if you wipe out, if Celtic beat them before Christmas, if Celtic beat them 4 times, that's 12 points straight away. But if you've got an Aberdeen or an Inverness just now who consistently beat all the other Diddy teams, then they're going to be up there challenging. They're going to accumulate enough points, and there will be a title race. But see, even if there is a real race for Europe this year, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, any sort of challenge or title, something.
And even the fact, I like the fact with Craig Brown, who was just a fucking arsehole and boring as anything, but today, down to 10 men, McManus took off Anderson and brought on Greg Wild, I think.
Ronald De Boer.
What?
He looks like Ronald De Boer.
Who does?
Greg Wild.
Does regardless who it looks like, but that was taking off his central defender and bringing on
how did you describe Greg Wild on Thursday? Or live on air?
A ball bag? That's not offensive.
Joanna noticed that. Yeah.
It's not offensive.
But nobody said, we've not had to apologise for it, so it's alright.
Can I just say, can I go on statement? And I don't think he's a ball bag. I think he's a fucking wank. I think he's a fucking wank.
I mean, he done nothing when he came on, but I did think it was a bold move, and it's good to see a manager actually trying to get a goal back against Celtic as opposed to thinking...
Down to 10 men as well.
Same as Derek Adam did. I was quite happy getting pumped because I didn't expect anything from it.
The thing, at the time... before they took McGuinness, or before they put McGuinness on, I turned around and I says, if we could actually go to a back three at this particular point in time, with Mulgrew,
Miyako,
thank you, and Ambrose, just as your back three, and just have that and pushing Matthews and Azagiri, because what we'd have then have done is dominated their midfield, and our attacking three beyond, or our attacking two beyond that, would have pinned them back. But he actually, McManus put on a more attack-minded player, which actually stopped that. I mean, I'm not saying going to a back three would have been the right thing to do or not, but I was just thinking it allows us to have more players in the opposition half. But he did. He turned around, said, and I don't know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but sometimes it's something. It's sometimes nice to turn around and say, look, if we're going to get beat, we're going to get beat. But let's get beat by giving ourselves a bloody good chance of getting a goal here or something. You've got 20,000 people out there that are here to support us and are paying good money. Let's go and at least try and get a goal. And that would be sound for that, because we've seen it too many times, and we've seen it a lot of times at Aberdeen where 2 goals go in and next thing you know it's 8-0.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's happened so many times before. Boud's back from doing a poo.
Is it safe? Because I'm dying for it.
I wouldn't call it safe right now.
Was that a vegan one?
So just looking at the point of view of today's match, what do you think, Chris? Pass Kevin that. You give him your microphone and you take that microphone. So just looking at today's match, Chris. I know this is for everyone, so think about it.
Can he be called Boud, so he's called Chris?
Absolutely.
Or he's called Sermanni, so you're called Chris? Can we do it that way?
Sermanni and Boud.
Right.
So, Boud, what is your thoughts on man of the match? Who would be Celtic's man of the match today?
We could shout at that, Chris.
That's a good question.
Kevin?
I'll answer that. In my opinion, I really liked, and this is for the sort of second week running, I thought Azagiri stuck to his task very, very well. As again, the way I described it is job description, attacking left back, but also defending when we need to defend. Azagiri done that really, really well. I enjoyed that.
Scott Brown as well, you've mentioned, did very well. So, yeah, I'd say Brown or Azagiri would be my man in the match.
Brown stuck out for me. I was kind of half watching it on and off because I was kind of looking after my boy at the time. But yeah, Brown is who stuck out for me, I'd say.
Commons took official man of the match, but
was that who it was?
No, but I thought he was crap before the penalty in the first half. I really did. I thought he looked, nothing was coming off for him.
Sermanni, let me ask you this, because we were talking about it in last week's show. Do you think Chris Commons is overweight? And I know people always go, oh no, he's not, and he's lean and blah blah blah. Do you think he's overweight? Do you think he's fat?
Yeah.
And do you think that's going to hinder him, or do you think that's just his physique?
I don't think it. I think what you get from Commons is what you get. I don't know. Again, I don't think he's blessed with a lot of pace anyway. So I think he can do what he does with, batter in, have a kebab. You know what I mean? I don't think he's one of us. Yes.
We should invite him on the show, actually. I thought that the fact that Azagiri was up against, the danger men for Aberdeen were Hayes and McGinn, and the fact that Azagiri and Matthews, I thought Matthews a couple of times. He was up against Hayes, wasn't he? Yeah, he's got the best of him a couple of times. But, overall, what can you really do from that point of view? But I thought that, as a Geary, I thought it was great. I thought Scott Brown was fantastic. But the main point that will come away from today and over the last couple of weeks is that Samaras is not your number 9, 4, 5, 1. And that's not a criticism of Samaras. That's just the system will not work with him being your focal point because he drifts. I've made this comparison before, ridiculously. Luis Ronaldo is very much a player who'll drop deep, go on runs, take players away to leave space for other players.
On that note, Chris, the one thing I would disagree with there is I think that's what Samaras's strength is when you're playing the sort of him as the lone striker, as the way he will sort of drift away from the centre, and I think that's what you maybe seen today, where you've seen very much occasions when he was the supposedly the most highest up player, but you would see occasions where Commons and Brown were also in front of him, and his job is to maybe engage with one of the centre halves and one of the full backs and try and engage the two of them and pull them away to create a little bit of space. And I think that's what maybe Tuesday's game was in mind. I actually think Lennon set up his team against Aberdeen today for Tuesday in mind.
And I was going to say, I think I totally agree with Kev. Samaras can play that role, but it's going to be a lot more effective against, frankly, a team who are stronger than us when we're trying to harry and harass. If we're the team that should be dominating, I don't think you should be playing one up front with Samaras. Also, his effectiveness is hugely influenced by, I say, those wingmen, as Kevin was saying. How effective are they? Because Samaras is drifting back, making space, playing on balls. Do we have essentially right and left wing players that are forwards as well? And that's maybe where that formation can fall down if we're playing against a bigger team.
But that could be totally right, where maybe today was given the first team game time and playing in that formation, because the likelihood is that will be the team that starts on Tuesday afternoon. Actually, was it 4 o'clock kickoff?
Certainly not. Maybe not necessarily the team, but the formation. Because you maybe think Lustig instead of Matthews or something.
Forrest will start. I think.
I don't know if he will. I mean, Forrest is. Forrest made a tackle today. Although I think Forrest was as shocked as the rest of us, where he's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like, it was stupid. But I don't think Forrest will be starting. I think he'll play pretty conservatively, and he'll play a lot of big, tall guys, because by all accounts, this mob are tall. So
I mean, the point about that is it's a valid point, Brian. I mean, but reading a few things about this team, apparently they don't like quick-footed, kind of technically gifted players who's going to go and kind of go one-on-one and do 1-2s, and as opposed
that rules Forrest out then,
Well, that's it. Chris, you're not a Forrest fan?
No, not at all. I mean, if he gets level with a man, he rarely beats him. He's supposed to be pacey. Well, I suppose he is pacey, but if he's one-on-one with a guy, he never beats him.
Doesn't have a lot in his locker when it comes to take it. It's very much direct, put your head down and run. Yep. There doesn't seem to be a lot of, as we said about earlier on, when it came to that goal, he had his head down the whole time. He didn't look up. You can't. That's not going to work, is it?
There's a lot of people compared him to McGady, and I just think that's the most ridiculous comparison I've ever heard. I mean, McGady is like twice the player. No, more than that compared to Forrest. I just think, as a winger, he really beats his man. He really gets a decent ball, and I really don't know why he's in the team. He gets rated by people, and I don't know why.
I'm going to agree completely. I think his only strength when it comes to it is if there's a lot of space behind the defender he's playing against, for him to sort of knock the ball where the defender sort of having to turn and go, whereas he's getting maybe the 3 or 4 yards start on him, and that's what he's got there. But we commented on it on Thursday about he's got two things that are going against him. When he's got the ball, he's either looking at the ball when he's running, which means he doesn't know what's in the middle, or he's looking in the middle but he'll get no control of his ball. And as a football player, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
We'd mentioned earlier on, I think he's better going through the middle as opposed to out wide, but his finishing's nowhere near strong enough for him to be an effective player there. So I don't think he's got any real role. I mean, playing away in Europe, you know, he came on in Moscow. That wasn't his goal. I'm not having that. You know, I really don't see. I don't see him being a big player for Celtic. I reckon he'll be in and around the squad for a while, but nah, I don't think he's ever going to kick on and be an important player for us.
Doesn't he?
He does.
Lennon talks so much.
I remember Redknapp talking him up when he was still at Spurs, and you know he'd been linked with him, and he mentioned, you know, they mentioned him to him, and he said that he's a clever player, he's a good player. And
Harry Redknapp talking about another player who's under contract. Are you serious?
Was Redknapp going to sell his 2 Capris for him?
Amazing, lovely. The thing about James Forrest is actually, well, I'll ask you, Chris, because you're quite someone quiet just now. What's your take on Forrest?
I think Forrest, and you mentioned when Redknapp was talking him up, I think Forrest did have a period where he did look as if maybe...
Is that why he's so moody?
Boom.
No, maybe it could have been something, and as you see, he's got pace, but that appears to be it. Possibly the reason Lennon talks him up so much, I'm just thinking, if he is playing him down the right, who else is he going to play there? Matthews is the alternative, I think, because Commons is essentially through the middle.
And that was commented on Thursday as well, that a lot of people are seeing maybe Matthews as being an option to be that right mid.
He's got everything going for him at this point. He's a better crosser the ball than Forrest. He looks more he's more athletic.
I actually think Brown is a better option on the right hand side as well, because and that's been more critical to James Forrest than it is bumming up Scott Brown.
I think we'd all agree we want Brown in the middle.
I like Scott Brown on the right. I thought he was very, very effective on the right.
That's actually changed, because a few years ago a lot of people thought the only position you could accommodate Brown in was wide right.
And that's the one you've nailed it. Accommodate.
In case he fucked up.
that was also what we did with Sermanni as well a couple of years ago, where we turned around and says, look, what we can't do is we can't afford them to be in the middle, so let's just put them out to the left because we need them in the game but not enough to influence the game. And now we're realising, you weren't actually a centre forward, you're just an attacking player.
Yeah.
And his ability I was going to say dominate, but dominate's the wrong word, to be involved more in the games from the left is far more potent than what he was doing when he was through the middle for us.
I think Brown on the right, Brown through the middle is he's more effective there with someone like Ledley, who's on form. I mean, sometimes I know.
I thought he was excellent today. I thought some of his touches were class.
Yeah, but I know everyone here's a big Ledley fan, and I'm a fan too. But I also think at times he can be quite ineffective. At times.
There's a nickname that goes around about him. It's a ghost, because in big games he just doesn't show up.
I don't agree with that. I don't. But I think when Ledley's on form, I think Brown is more effective in the middle. I think. I remember him playing with Donati, and I thought, nah, you don't work in the middle.
Ledley makes him.
He completes him.
The new season is kicked off. We are 2 games in league-wise. We are at Champions League. We're in the throes of the qualification for the Champions League. So there's been a lot of, obviously, criticism about the fact that Celtic have sold 2 of their key players from last season and not replaced them in any way or form. So we've sold...
Wilson not a key player?
Sorry, actually, you're 100% right. Wilson as well. Wilson, Wanyama and Gary Hooper, a spine of the team, if you will. But I think Wilson, actually bringing it to Wilson, he played 50 games last season. Wanyama and Hooper, I don't doubt, are of the same sort of figures.
3 definite vertebrae there.
Absolutely, you should kill yourself. So, there's been a lot of kind of blame being thrown around and a lot of things to be said about Celtic not being active in the transfer window. But when it comes to that, obviously we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. We don't know how many bids have been put in. We don't know. It's not all reported. But, there's a lot of blame seems to be put on, for example, what we would call him St. Peter, Peter Lawwell.
Yes.
I think we'd all agree on that. Actually, Chris.
Speaking for the Green Brigade, I wouldn't.
Oh, well, we've got controversy here.
Satan Peter.
Oh, Satan Peter, here we go.
You know,
yourself out for next month there, sir.
do you know why I wasn't invited? Because I'm the renegade of the 90-minute Cynic team.
Master.
That's it. So when we're looking at it, okay, what?
Fuck you, no.
Okay,
You listening?
this is
Pete does listen on a regular basis, so
Chris, let me ask you this: who's to blame? Is there anyone?
there are 3 Chris's around the table. You've got to
Sermanni.
be
Well,
more
you're Boud,
specific.
right? So
Yeah, we tried to say this earlier on and label people appropriately.
okay, Sermanni, who is to blame?
Kev, you're an arsehole.
Dobbers, shut up.
Is anyone to blame? Who's to blame? Is anyone to blame? Is it the manager? Is it the hierarchy? Is the biscuit tin mentality back? Is what I'll ask you.
No, I wouldn't say so. I think they're trying to get the right players at the right price, and I think a lot of fans are.
Is that opposed to the wrong players at the wrong price? Because that's a shit attitude to take towards the Santra.
Kev, I'm talking.
Okay, sorry.
Right, what I mean is, I know, I couldn't fight sleep, but you know, I'm getting a bit angry around the table here, you know. But what I really mean is, we've
No time for you for a toilet break.
Kev, he's got to edit this tomorrow, man. Come on, Kevin. Right, so no, right. I think
Not yet, anyway.
Can someone speak? How about that?
I think we've made money this season, last season with the Champions League run and selling players and stuff like that. But I don't think. I think we should get the right players at the right price. As I said, I don't think we should be going out and just throwing money about because we might not get to the Champions League this season. A lot of people have said you need to speculate to accumulate, but I don't necessarily agree with that. Anything can go wrong in a playoff round. I think if we're approaching the right players, that's fine. But I think if you've got a price in mind, that's okay. At the same time, we do need to replace what we've lost. So we need, if plan A doesn't work, we need a plan B. If that doesn't work, we need a plan C. And we remain to be seen if that's going to work out.
It's Kevin.
On that, Sermanni's absolutely spot on. After today's...
Sorry, what did you call me now?
Christopher. When Lennon was interviewed after today's game at Aberdeen, the Daft Bird again posed silly stupid questions.
Oh, Kevin.
But one of the questions she did pose was in regards to...
she wasn't that hot looking, so
She wasn't? Was she not?
You can insult her about that, but don't call her a daft bird.
How did she get the job then?
Oh, can you all just
She didn't even have big
focus?
tits. No. And you know that's not a prerequisite to the real reason for birds getting jobs.
This is
True, to its words.
yeah, Kevin.
But the point is that the question was posed to Lennon by some intellectually challenged other person for the wrong gender, and he answered it eloquently as males do, and it was along the lines of he turned around and says, for this particular round, the priority is to get a forward in. That's the position he wants to strengthen, but if they were fortunate enough to get into the Champions League group stages, or lucky enough, or correctly included in it in the first place, then the squad would be strengthened. They would have funds to go after numerous positions. I think rightly, there's no need to go and spend 2 million, never mind 10 or 15 or 20 million. There's no need to spend 2 million on the squad just now because the squad will win the SPL. So if we end up getting knocked out of the Champions League, then is there any real need to go and spend a lot of money? Why don't we just win the league again and then hopefully do it again for the following year? But if we get into it, he made it clear the money will be spent and they'll go after targets.
Yeah, pretty much agree. What I'd also say is that we actually have spent money. I mean, Baldy cost over 2 million. Dirk cost
3 million, I think.
3 million.
That's $5.5 million already.
Yeah,
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
Right, yeah.
A couple of million. So money's been spent. I do agree. I would like a striker. Pucky being my probable choice for that.
Over Finn Bogason?
If we could get him, he's going to cost more. I would take either of those players. I think they're both.
I don't mean it.
Your opinion doesn't matter, Chris. And we also do need I think we need a strong central midfielder because as we've made clear, Kyle, personally, I don't think is going to do the job.
There was rumours today we had a bid agreed with is it Werder Bremen? There's a boy, it's a really long name, begins with A, and I've no idea. He's maybe an Austrian boy from...
I know who it is. It's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H.
Is it Austronovic? I think it ends in a C. So that was a guess. So
we had a bid accepted and he's turned it down because he fancies something bigger, apparently. But it was allegedly €4 million.
No, it's an interesting point. Arnautovic, he's a fantastic player.
It's more a forward than a midfielder.
He's a striker. He's basically a striker.
Yeah, well, so we're in for Finnbogason, Pukki, and this boy.
Oh, I would not.
And Kevin Doyle.
Yeah, but
Arnautovic has been linked with Napoli and like.
No, that's what I'm saying. But we had the bid accepted, but the player turned it down. So Celtic, these are players that none of us.
Is this the guy that's? Sorry. Is this the guy that's turned down everybody and like made sneering comments about
Aye.
it?
I think he's
basically a bit of a wido, but
aye.
Was he at loan at Inter?
Was he? I can't. I've only seen him play for Werder Bremen, but I've seen him quite a few times.
Werder Bremen accepted Celtic's bid.
He's been. Oh, did they?
So Celtic are prepared to spend money. Finnbogason, I think, and Lennon's admitted that Finnbogason's the main target, and I think if we get past Shakhtar, we will get him. And I think there's a good possibility we'll get Pukki as well. I think we'll have two forwards in, but we're in the Europa League now, so should we get?
Yeah, he wasn't loaned in there.
So should we get a player in? And
he was at Monaco as well. Sorry,
regardless of the fact that, in saying that, we all appreciate the Europa League, and I would love if we don't make the Champions League. Can you imagine Celtic getting the Europa League final as well?
Brian, see when you're saying there that if we were to get through or whatever, we would spend the money for Boxing. It's over £5 million now. The money that's getting quoted from other clubs have bid that, and it's been knocked back by Heerenveen already. Do Celtic need to go, should Celtic go and buy somebody £6-7 million to play in SPL? Is that not Celtic's Tor Andrew Flo?
No, I think this is the chance for Celtic to. The SPL's won without a shadow of a doubt, so this is Celtic need to make a sign to make an impact in Europe, and we need to get beyond what we did last year, I think.
I think that is Celtic's Tor Andrew Flo. I think that's David Murray's marquee signing where he spent over what he has to do.
So do you think we should
dominate
Scottish football? If Celtic make the Champions League,
£6 million? No, I don't think we should sign him.
If Celtic make the Champions League, you don't think we should be signing a player at £6 million?
I don't think we can.
I don't think we should.
In Scottish football, no,
this isn't about. It hasn't been about Scottish football since the Huns went bust. Scottish football, there isn't a Scottish football.
Exactly. So therefore, where's the money going to come from if we don't get into the Champions League? And we're
that's what I just said. If we make the Champions League.
But that's one season. Should we not store our nuts like the way a squirrel does?
To do what?
Like Nedved
would do. Qualifying for the Champions League.
But just to qualify for the Champions League now, so we just qualify and then get pumped in 6 games, or we go out make a real...
£10 million, I'd get pumped in 6 games.
Right, so for £10 million, we spend 6 of that, make a marquee signing, make an impact, and potentially get the quarter-finals.
You think Celtic, with that, the players we can attract, could make an impact?
I think if we get Finnbogason...
Got to the last 16.
I think.
Have you seen our defence against any of the Juventus, who weren't actually that great a team last season when it comes to the top level of European football? Destroyed us simply without coming out of second gear.
Last season, I think even qualifying for the last 16, if we're taking the Celtic tinted glasses off, the Barcelona result was a lot to do with the emotion of the night, the 125-year anniversary. I think we were quite lucky last year, even with the players we had, to get to the last 16.
I agree.
It was an achievement. There's no question there.
No, I know we done it, and I think it was an achievement, as you say. I think we shot above ourselves.
We continue to Scottish team, so we always do it.
Well,
but if you sign the players that might actually give us a hope.
We can't attract. First of all, we can't attract these players in second.
We get Finnbogason and see if Heerenveen agree that fee. Finnbogason will come to Celtic.
The difference about Finnbogason is he stayed in Scotland for a while, so I think he knows what it's like. I think he knows about Celtic a wee bit more, and he knows what it's like to play for a club like us. So I think Finnbogason would be a great signing. I don't think we just need a striker. I think we need more. I
think we need 2 strikers and a decent midfielder.
Well,
and centre halves, depending
on when Van Dijk. I mean, he's an unknown quantity.
He get turned today very easily, and I know it's only his first
coming
game
back.
But
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and he does in Holland. He looked fairly decent. But you're absolutely right. We possibly need a centre back. We definitely need a central midfielder. We definitely need at least one, if not 2, strikers. But and I don't think, because a lot of Celtic fans we got to last 16 last season. That's where we're going to get No, we're not guaranteed to get into the group stages, and getting to the group stages is our prime aim.
That's the biggest achievement, yeah.
But having got to last 16, we should always be trying to push on and improve our squad. And we've just sold our 2
when they signed
best
Van
players.
Dijk, I think so many, even people that really know Dutch football, were pretty much astounded that Celtic had identified this boy and signed him.
A lot of people were
Apparently it was
astounded that we signed Miku, who was fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he must have
Vickery,
that.
Tim Vickery said, he's a great player if you get a rocket up his arse, basically.
Tim Vickery said it was a signing of the transfer window. Like Miku, I think he did fucking shagged Neil Lennon's bird or something.
He did actually say that he's a lazy bastard, which summed him up. And if you stuck, I think he said, well, I don't think this is the exact words, but if you stick a rocket up his arse, if you basically get,
I think you're
get
paraphrasing.
moving, I'm paraphrasing.
I mean, the point is when it comes to that situation, if we have a season where a team, Celtic build a team, they build a team, they get to the Champions League and they do well, you're losing your players.
All we want to see
look at Wanyama, look at Hooper, and then the season after that, you have to start from the beginning. And as Chris says, these Champions League playoff games are unknown quantities, and sometimes stuff goes wrong. So if you miss the Champions League one season, you're 10 million quid out of pocket, because we're going to start. We don't want to get to the point where we're counting on that Champions League money by outspending.
All any of us want to see is Celtic in the Champions League. If we were to qualify out of our group, we'll all be like utterly ecstatic, same as we were last year. All we want is
Europa League football at Christmas would be the greatest thing.
Yeah. See, get to Champions League, that's it.
But what you're saying about money, it's absolutely right. I'm an advocate of storing some money. So you can't just say, well, we've made this money, we can spend it. But last season, we didn't just get to the group stages, we got beyond that, so we got the money there. We also sold a lot of players for a lot of money, so there is money to spend for Celtic. We can't spend it all, but we can spend.
But what would have happened if we hadn't qualified for the Champions League?
No, but we did.
Well, okay, fair enough. But well, this is the point. We need to think about the overall, every single scenario, right? So if we hadn't qualified for the Champions League and we hadn't sold those players, right now it would be okay. But times are tight in Scotland. There is no revenue streams in Scottish football. There is no revenue streams in football just when it comes to below the top.
But Celtic aren't about Scottish football. None of us go to watch Celtic for Scottish football just now.
Nobody goes to watch any of the club for their specific national league.
No, well, I think that no.
But our national, we don't have a national league. It's literally dead in the water. There's no money being made from it. So therefore, you have to be really frugally smart.
Money. As a football fan, it's about competitiveness. You want to go and watch a football game. Scottish football's fucked from that perspective because there isn't any competitive edge below Celtic. Nobody can compete with Celtic. But as a Celtic fan, you want to see Celtic compete with the people that they're going to face in the Champions League.
Well, this is the whole problem with being a Celtic fan, right? We need, you know exactly what we need to do. You know, we need to buy players, we need to sign them, etc. You know, sell them on, do a certain thing.
You just said etc.
ETC.
So bloody what, right? I'm fucking half cut, right? But what I'm saying is here.
First night and he said etc. Well done.
But I've been on the Thursday show, right? But what I mean is, you know, we basically. Take over here, man.
You've thrown him off.
You've thrown me off, yeah.
See, the Thursday show, you can just waffle on and that's it. You need to think on your feet.
I think. Oh no!
But you can always escape real quick.
Just throw in a swear word and then Kev will come in.
Are you back involved?
Country boys, I'm taking back over here, right? What I mean is, as a Celtic fan and our history and what we've previously done, what makes us the club we are is we need to kind of still aspire to a certain level, right? But the level that we really should be at is, you know, buying, selling, making our money. But what makes us the club we are is we don't think like that. We think slightly above that. but we need to operate just below that.
Disagree. The club thinks on the right way, where you buy, you sell, you buy, you sell. It's the fans that don't think that way.
That's what I mean.
Right. Say it then. It's the fans that don't think that.
It's
right?
the fans. That's what I mean. As Celtic fans, we think a level above.
Way above.
Illusions of grandeur.
No. Yeah. But that makes us what we are, and I don't think we should ever come down from that.
Well, the thing that. Then what you'll do is you'll flatter to deceive. Then you'll never be as big as what's in your mind.
No, but I think your standards will be higher.
Yeah, your standards will be higher. But if you don't achieve those standards, then mediocrity kicks in.
Chairman or an owner who will overspend and
no.
And your
I don't
die.
No, that won't happen at Celtic.
No, that will happen.
Not with Peter Lawwell.
Once upon a time, there was a team in Glasgow that thought
zombies.
Sorry, you've got a what? Sorry.
Well, we should have a Peter. We should have a Peter Lawwell question.
Well, there is a Peter Lawwell question.
How good is he?
There should be no debate. Peter
you know
Lawwell.
What? I actually think he's going to be the next advert for Armani underwear.
Peter Lawwell is just incredible.
But let's hear the dissenting voice. Brian, pass the mic.
Right.
No, don't give him it. If he's going to slag Peter Lawwell, don't give him it.
Peter,
no.
Peter, this is the Green Brigade speaking to you right now.
Chris has just put a mask on. It's just a big green G.
What's this pyro? What's going on here?
No. Peter, no pyro, no party.
Unbelievable. Just before we move on to Celtic versus the Green Brigade,
Green Brigade.
This section was the season expectations, but we've not really hit on that as much as we probably should. Chris, are there going to be any breakout players this season from the youth? Chris Boud.
McGeoch, possibly. Depending how he returns from his injury. Fraser at centre-back was very, very good last season. So the last I heard, he's due back in December. I don't know if anything's changed there. So I think he's got the potential, but big injury.
Tony Watt, Bryan, will Tony Watt be... how many games will Tony Watt play this season, do you think?
I'm surprised he's now not out on loan yet, and from what I've heard, he did have...
Dundee United, I heard, were interested in him.
No, I think there was a few clubs interested, but I did...
He could learn from David Goodwillie how to be a cunt. So
what I heard was he
punch above himself.
Ideas above his station, and had to have a kind of...
We've all heard that. We've all heard the story about the car and then...
No, just basically thinking he should have get more first team opportunities. So I don't think Tony Watt will. He'll get some decent game time, but he should go out on loan. I think the Celtic standout this year might not play for Celtic. I think it'll be Jackson Irvine, who's moved down to Kilmarnock and could make a real name for himself down there. And I hope he does, because if he plays the way he played against Liverpool in centre midfield, I always thought the boy was a centre half, but he's playing centre midfield. He might actually quite decent.
See on that, this might go against the grain with a hell lot of people here, but I'm going to say it anyway. See if you're going to put a player out on loan. See if I was in charge of Celtic and I was wanting to put little Jackson out on loan there, Brian. Know what I'd have liked to have done? I'd have liked to have given up with Dundee United and turn it to Jackie McNamara and say to Jackie McNamara, you get the benefit of this guy. Don't give it to Kilmarnock, who Kilmarnock have done the dirty in us in the past and fucked us. No, I'm being serious here. I genuinely, I mean this.
That's just... I think Alan Johnson will... I think his philosophy and what he's done, he'll be a good manager for.
And you do think Jackie would have done the same thing?
But in saying that, I thought Dundee United would do really well this year, and so far they've been pish.
Shite.
But that's just the general expectations of Dundee United at the start of every season.
No, I generally thought McNamara and Donnelly, after last year when you could see the improvements there, and I thought they're really going to push on. They brought Goodwillie back, and they've just been utter shit.
But I just wouldn't have. I would have turned around to what's it? Alan Johnson, is that the chairman of Kelly? I'd have turned around.
Michael Johnson.
Oh, the basketball player? Oh, fucking great. So he has.
Do you know what he chucked
Honestly,
Chicago
he's
Bulls,
great.
and he invested all his money in Kilmarnock because he loved the pies so much.
Honestly, slam.
HIV's keeping him back.
Did he slam dunk them? He slam dunked them. No, but
This is a cunt of what a Boston Celtics talked about the last podcast.
and this is a cunt that won a Miami Dolphin one, the one beforehand. So don't start.
Miami Heat won the next one.
Come on, to fuck.
Miami Dolphins American football team, but
Same thing.
try and keep
Hey,
Whatever.
he had it out the stadium. Boom, boom, run. But no, I honestly, on that one, I genuinely, I disagreed with that loan. I wouldn't have given him to Kilmarnock. I'd have turned around and says, no, Sodges,
kept him.
you have fucked us up. Your junior Huns, you've proved it in many a times. Your chairman's proved it in many a times.
Huns.
I
I don't know if that comes into
like
the
that.
negotiating strategy.
But
See
it
if
should
Peter
do.
Lawwell goes into a room and says, nah, you're junior Huns, see you later.
Junior Hunt, he should do. He should have turned around and says, let's go and help one of us. I'll give you up to Jackie. Do you fancy him? You can have him.
I guess it's because I'm greener than green.
The Green Brigade and the kind of what's happened with them being, I guess, disbanded, I guess. Is that, would you call it disbanded,
I
Brian?
think the Celtic have dispersed the section, but the Green Brigade haven't disbanded because the Green Brigade are completely separate to Celtic. And
Sorry, yeah.
Celtic have tried to move them and sort of shut down the section because it was causing so much problems at the stadium.
Kevin, what's your take on it? They've been Celtic versus the Big Green Brigade, I guess, because that's the way it's been. Because that's not how, obviously, it kind of maybe should be. Or should that be how it's perceived? I don't know what you guys have thought. We had a Green Brigade member.
There's points where there is clearly. I really wish we had a representative of the Green Brigade in with us tonight, and we might vine it. So stay tuned to our Twitter account. But there is clear occasions where it is the club versus our ultras, inverted commas.
Kevin, thoughts on it? Takes on it? Do you have an opinion? Do you care? Thoughts?
No, I think they bring a certain bit of jeu de voir to the stadium on match days, which should be.
Jeu de voir, really?
Are you French?
Joie de vivre.
Comme ça. But yeah, no, I actually do. I appreciate what they're trying to do on every match day, which your average Celtic supporter sits there and could bring a fucking book at Parkhead because the amount of effort they put into trying associate themselves to what's happening in the park is nil. So it is. I'll
make a point about that, and it's when you've nailed the point there when you say associate on the park, because the Green Brigade Ultra. I'm not a fan of ultras groups at all. I don't like any sort of separation when it comes to supporters in general. But I was at the Ross County game, and Ross County scored after 2 or 3 minutes, and it was the same for quite a few games I've been to. And when you talk about an emotional connection to what's happening on the park, there isn't really an emotional connection to what's happening in the park at times because, for example, when we lose a goal, Celtic lose a goal, they don't react. They continue jumping. They don't break in their movement. They don't break in what they're, what's happening as they're celebrating, as their movement. And that's where I have a bit of a problem with it, because I remember being at Celtic, and I know I understand and I take the point about how they have generated an atmosphere, because they have. It's an unbelievable atmosphere. And I'll just make this one point. When it comes to conceding a goal, at one point I remember being at Celtic Park when we concede a goal. When you concede that goal, there's that 1 or 2 minute or so of silence.
Stunned silence,
and then it's the big intake of breath and
let's go again.
Let's go again. The Green Brigade, and again, it's the same with this. I'm not picking on the Green Brigade. It's just ultras groups in general. When they're jumping about and it's emotional connection to the park. When a goal's scored and they don't change their movement, they don't change anything. They're just at my point, I'm like, well, okay, you're getting behind the club and stuff, but it's not reacting. There's no reaction to what's happening on the park.
Well, and
that's my take on it personally. So
to the flip side of that, then, if you're then looking at the way the rest of the stadium react to what's happening in the park, Chris. When a goal gets scored for or against, there's only a 30 seconds worth of emotions, and then it's back down to sitting. And honestly, see if it was fucking old women, they'd be sitting with knit needles.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is see, the point about the whole thing is it's an overall problem with a certain apathy within the crowd that's not going to be.
And that's why the Green Brigade should be lauded for what they're trying to do. Now, they've got their faults, and whether the right way to criticise them is purely down to health and safety reasons by the disbursement of Section 111. Yeah,
111.
The disbursement of 111 is just down to a health and safety scenario, or Celtic have an actual problem with them and turn around and say, no, we don't want you there. I'd rather be a little bit more honest if that is the case. But you know what? See if they weren't there, what a shit environment for 90 minutes to sit and watch a game of football it would be. And I genuinely do mean that.
Chris Sermanni, thoughts?
I think Celtic, they take them for granted after what they've done. I really do think they take them granted, and they also use them as well. I mean, some of the things they've done in the past few seasons have been outstanding. The Barcelona display, for instance, was unbelievable.
Which Celtic FC encouraged and supported.
Yep, exactly. They've been in cahoots with them before. That sounds as if it was dodgy, but they've worked with them in the past, and it's been really good. I mean, that display was fantastic. Sorry.
I was just going to say, match after match display.
Yeah,
there's lots of. I mean, obviously that's a standout, but
some of the banners,
many superb displays.
I think
some of the banners are
Scotland's shame. One of the best things I've ever seen.
The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
The favourite one I saw, and it's not as thingy as that, is I went to the sorry to interrupt, but I went to the Ross County game with my dad, and I've not been to not been for years with my dad. My dad doesn't go to football, but we were both sitting, and it was the Ross County game, and they had the big banner, "This is my city, these are my colours," and it was just the kind of outline of Glasgow, and it was green and white. That to me really, really struck a chord, and yeah.
Now these things cost money, right? These posters aren't drawn up by some 12-year-old in his fucking back shed or whatever. Right? There's a lot of money, effort, imagination put into this, and the fact that there's certain people involved in Celtic, whether it's other fan groups, whether it's people on the board, whether it's people in the media, whether it's other clubs, whatever it is, who are turning around and saying no, this shouldn't be allowed. We spoke about this in a previous podcast. Chris Boud was there as well, where we turned around and said about Neil Lennon when he went down and put the trophy in front of them, and as if to give them a little bit more respect than everybody else in the stadium. And I said at the time, they deserve the respect. They deserve the respect to get that little bit of an accolade to turn around and say, this trophy, you were involved in us getting this trophy. Because I actually think the Green Brigade are involved in it more so than the rest of the stadium put together. And the Green Brigade, to Celtic's shame, are being dispersed from that, and Celtic should have stood up for it a little bit more.
I was just going to cut in there, Kev. I definitely agree. See the Barcelona game last season, right? This might be a controversial opinion, but I think their display and where they took it from them kind of led us off on that night, and I think what they started off really took us in getting that result. That display, I mean, I don't know how many of you were there, but that was just absolutely unbelievable. I think as a group, the Green Brigade have added so much to Celtic Park, atmosphere-wise. I think a lot of the times when things are down, the general fan base look at them. I also think that a lot of the negative stuff about them, whether it's an excuse or not, they can also point to the fact that as a section, 111 is really overcrowded because people gravitate towards being there. So a lot of the bad stuff can be from people who are not members and they don't know what's expected of them. Personally, whatever's wrong with the Green Brigade, I would hope that the club could fix it, because Celtic Park is a worse place without them. And they're not beyond criticism, they're not beyond you know,
They're not beyond reproach.
They're not beyond
They have to be-
reproach.
they have to be put down if they do something wrong.
Exactly. They need to be, but
Policed.
just there needs to be. I think as a ground, as an atmosphere, I think we're better with them.
Yeah,
as opposed to
100%.
I'm just going
100%.
I'm going to come in and I'll get all of your points in this. So the statement that came out from Celtic Park was we've been left with no option but to take steps to ensure the safety of our supporters, blah 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 blah. Unsafe lateral movement of spectators and body surfing were highlighted. In order to protect our safety certificate, it's essential that we comply with all other duties. That seems legitimate. Now,
Okay, right. On that point there, I'm a wee bit older than you guys, and
6 years.
Yeah, older. And, I've got shite foot.
And you no hair either.
No hair. No, no, it's loud. So yes.
Same.
But I don't go to concerts, right? That was my point there. That was what I was going to go to. But you go to concerts, right?
We call them gigs.
Gigs, okay, thank you. And the
Stockake and Waterman, they have
the
released a
youngsters
record in a
of
long
it.
time.
But
Our music halls.
But surely you've seen it at your gigs there. Well,
You've seen it. Your gigs there. You know your gigs.
Your
You get-
box social.
Yeah,
Yes.
with your Nintendos. But sorry, Kev.
but people there, body surf, people there bang into each other, people jump up and down. So is it the fact that there's seats? Is that what the problem is? Or because lateral movement happens in a fucking subway station. I've stayed in London in the past where you're crammed into a subway station when a fucking train goes that way and a train goes that way, and that's dangerous. The fact that you're in a relatively large environment and everybody who's in that environment is aware and encouraging other people to behave like that is very, very similar to a festival, to Tina Park, to Eton.
Just quickly, right? I mean, the lateral movement looks amazing. That's why I like it. It looks really good. Now, if it's a genuine safety concern, that's fair enough. But the club are kind of blaming the council for this one.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
I just want to jump
Go
in here.
on you go.
Sorry, just to back up your point. Stadium safety is covered by a Stadium General Safety Certificate, which is issued by the Glasgow City Council in terms of the Safety of Sports Grounds Act 1975. Without our safety certificate, we could not open and operate the stadium. So, sorry, just wanted to
I'd like to see some evidence of genuine warnings from the council.
Not
Because
only-
it just sounds like a. See, from the initial, the formation of the Green Brigade, I don't think the club have been particularly warm to them. They've been very happy to use their Glasgow's green and white slogans.
Yeah,
There's a few things.
branding and just use them from a marketing point of view. Yeah.
They've turned around and says that the stadium itself has been damaged by the lateral movement, whether it's across, whether it's up and down. They've said that the Green Brigade went in after a game to ask, let's see the damage. Now, I think whoever it was, whether it's Glasgow City Council, the health and safety body, or whether it was Celtic themselves, said that it was somewhere in the region of about 300 seats that were damaged. The Celtic the Green Brigade went in and turned around and said they could see maybe in the region of maybe 30 seats that were damaged. Now, I remember a long time ago, I went to pick up tickets for a European game. I can't remember which European game it was, but you had to queue in. We all know where the ticket office is at Parkhead. It's down towards the Rangers end. The European game was after, the sales for the tickets were after a Rangers game, and the way we had to be queuing our formation brought us into that tunnel section just down at the Rangers end, we were queued round, and I looked up, and the Rangers end was destroyed at Parkhead. There wasn't a seat in sight. So what you're looking at there is 8,000. I think it's 8,000 that Rangers supporters are brought. Every seat was broke. Now, we've already heard stories of toilets being decimated, things like this. So on that score, if it's in regards to damage to stadium, health and safety purposes to fans, because if you're breaking a seat and one of the things is that the person that goes to sit down can't sit down because the seat's not there any longer, then should away fans be... Should Rangers not be banned for Parkhead?
Well, we were banned from Ibrox for the same thing.
Yeah.
Chris Boud, I'm going to bring you into the debate. What are your thoughts on it?
I think agree with everything Kev said regards bringing an atmosphere, same with Chris. But what I would say is, if the club have said to the Green Brigade, they've sat down with them, they've said you can't do the lateral movement, we're going to have our safety certificate removed, so you have to stop doing that. And they've decided, oh, we'll just do it anyway. You've been warned. I kind of lose sympathy when you're just doing something, even though you've been told, because you think, we're so good, we are better than everyone else, they can't get rid of us. It's that kind of. Do
you think the club called a bluff? Then is that basically what you're saying?
Pretty much, and I'd say it might be nonsense, might be bollocks that lateral movement it shouldn't be there. That probably does go against health and safety. Let's be honest. But if you've been sat down, you've had meetings, and you've been told this can't continue, and you've decided to do it anyway, then really you've got one person to look at. It's the man in the mirror.
Empty there. What, Chris? Let me ask you this, Chris Sermanni. What are your thoughts on, there's kind of slogans going on social network and stuff, and no pyro, no party, talking about how, we should be allowed to, bangers and smoke bombs and stuff. Do you think that adds to atmosphere? Or as a fan who, if you were sitting near that area and having smoke bombs, like Aberdeen today, for example, where they were going off, do you think the Green Brigade, by doing what they want, are taking away other people's rights to not have fucking smoke in their fucking lungs?
Well, bangers wise, that was kind of related to the Ellsberg tie, the first one.
Yeah.
I think the Green Brigade had attributed that to someone coming into the section and letting that off, and that's not something that's happened before. So we'll put a pin in that and put it aside.
No, that's a fair enough.
The smoke bombs. It looks good. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's a lot like the lateral movement. It looks good. There's the whole thing about.
If you were there with your son is young. He's a young boy, but maybe in 5 or 6 years.
You suffer from asthma or some other debilitating disease.
No. I absolutely understand what you're saying, but it's all about whether or not that is. Whether it's bad it's bad for people's health. I mean, I know smoke is in general, but
it's just uncomfortable, if anything. If you're sitting near that section and a smoke bomb goes off, and you're choking on smoke.
I'm going to be honest with you here, right? It's happened all across Europe, and the only time I've heard any sort of objection to it is that when it's happened at Celtic Park.
Well, to be fair, that's because you're not part. You don't read the Greek or the read the Italian stuff.
Well, of course, but it's been happening for years. On and on and on. So there would be some mention of it elsewhere.
But just because it's been happening doesn't mean it's good. Doesn't mean it's right.
No.
It does. It looks good.
Good. That's what it is.
If everybody raised an AK-47 and started firing that in there, it probably looked quite good.
Yeah, it would look good. But have you before Celtic Park? Have you heard anything health-wise? Objections to smoke flares in stadiums.
See, what I'll say is,
Christopher, answer the question.
Have you
heard any objections to it before it's happened at Celtic Park? And I'm not saying I'm all positive for it, but have you?
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is there health objections to it? Well, I've never heard them. It's happened for years elsewhere in Europe. Shows it. I mean,
maybe Europeans have just got balls.
I mean, it does come.
Well, I'm European myself, and I think Christopher is also.
Yeah, I think we're all European at this point.
Oh, Christ, it's only fucking 3 Christophers here, isn't there, right now?
When it comes to the pyro stuff, if we're going to get fined for it, should we not just not do it then?
Well, that's the whole thing. If we're going to get fined for it, don't do it. But are we going to get fined for Are we going to get fined for the pyro stuff?
I think so. I think that was the point. Someone made the point.
The banger stuff, I think, but the pyro, is there any evidence of that?
Smoke bomb. Well, all I'm saying is, if it does come to getting fined and being the club getting dragged across the coals for it. At that point, someone made a kind of funny comment on Twitter today. No pyro, no party. Well, when it comes to the bill, are the Green Brigade going to pay for it, or are they going to get the club to pay for it? So that's where when you're doing something that's against ultimately against the rules, whether the rules are right or wrong. If the club has to pay for it, at that point, the club turn around and say, well, ultimately, we need to have a word. We need to talk about how just don't do it.
Well, you've got to play by the rules. I mean, we touched very briefly earlier on Sion. They didn't play by the rules, and Celtic got in the next round of that game. We would all agree with that. Now, Sion signed a player and played him. So, that's fine by them. No, there's rules there, you play by them. You might not like them, go about your way in changing them, but, if you're told that your club are going to be fined, are going to be forced out of Europe, are going to have to play behind closed doors, then you've got to do,
Okay, so just wrapping this up, because there has been enough through Hail Hail Media. There's enough podcasts you can listen to. They'll give the kind of Green Brigade point of view and stuff. So we
Get our Vine also.
Yeah, we got our Vine. So we're just touching on it at this point. But just kind of to wrap it up, Kevin, what solutions could you see, and will there be any solutions, or is it now Celtic versus the Green Brigade at this point? Do you think?
No, I actually think it's the death of the Green Brigade as we know them just now. I think Celtic PLC or whatever it is have either been forced or forced it upon themselves to disperse them, and the stadium and the match experience will be lacking because of it. And I think, I said before, I think the solution would be for better self-policing of the Green Brigade themselves, whether that's looking at sections of Celtic Park where you can have smaller groups of people and allow mini Green Brigades to be in different parts of the stadium, or you turn around and you hope that legislation allows for non-seated areas, for standing areas, which allows for more lateral movement to be brought in, where you could then maybe bring the Green Brigade back in.
Chris, Sermanni, what's your thoughts?
Well, as I say, I do agree the Green Brigade aren't beyond reproach, but I mean, from the kick-off, I don't know if Celtic's approach to them has been the best.
Have Celtic exploited them?
Well, yeah. There's no other way to put that. If you put a slogan of a group on a T-shirt and sell it in the barrel load in a shop, then you're exploiting them. And then the next season, disperse them. Denounce them. Basically. They basically got rid of them. And the safety argument, see if it's legitimate, that's fine. But we're basically going in their word with it.
So basically, you want them to show you the safety certificate deeds. You want to see the deeds.
I would rather turn around and
show. You missed that.
Sorry, Chris. My apologies.
Hey,
the only funny thing I've said the whole night.
Peter, show us the deeds. Show us raw deeds.
Show us that raw certificate. But anyway, sorry.
No, sorry, Kev. If you want to.
No, I'm shaking my head because I fell for it.
Yeah, go on.
Basically, I'm not saying it may sound like I'm pro Green Brigade. All I really want, I just want them to stay because I think they've been fantastic for the stadium, and I think Celtic should be a lot more transparent about things because they're saying they're breaking the rules. The Green Brigade are saying the exact opposite. As an aspect of the matchday experience, I think the Green Brigade are brilliant, and if we're going to get rid of them, I want to know exactly why.
I don't think anyone can disagree with that. I mean, before the Green Brigade really came to prominence and built up, they were there because we'd been on the forums and so forth. But we'd all been talking about how the atmosphere at Celtic Park had been a downward spiral for a couple of years, really. And the Green Brigade did bring back the thunder. I hate to say it, but they definitely improved the atmosphere tenfold.
Do you see a solution, Chris Boud? Do you see a solution? Can you see the club and the group coming together, or as Kevin says, he seems to think it's the end of the group as a whole? Do you think also? Actually, this is some sorry to give throw three questions at you one time, but could this spark a sort of fan support revolution where people, you're both instantly on you
shaking their heads? No,
the majority of fans are apologetic towards the Green Brigade. They don't support them at all, which is actually what's wrong with it all. I get the opportunity last year to go to the Spartak Moscow game, the home game, and it was friends of my father who organised for tickets for us to sit in the main stand.
Danny Gillespie,
yes,
hello.
Thanks very much, Dad. And I was just slightly along from the director's box, so it was what I've always classed as the posh seats, and I sat there. The excitement within me was bubbling, and I'm fairly emotional when I come to the game as well. I sort of wear my heart on my sleeve and shout what I want to say. I'm like
he's basically the Kevin Keegan of football.
Yeah, but I say what has to be said, whether it's right or wrong. I say it a little bit like what I'm in this, but I say what has to be said. Now I'm at that game, and I don't know how many people sort of tutted around me and sort of get pissed off for the fact that
much like on this.
Yeah, aye, but precisely. Tell me to shut up, sit down, and go away and take your drink with you. But I looked at these people and thought, fuck, we've got a chance of getting through in the last 16, and you're more concerned about having a wee chat and saying, it was a nice wee journey in the day, wasn't it? It was, son. It was a nice wee journey in the day. No, let's watch the game, mate. Let's sing our team through it the next round. But there's too many parts of Celtic Park don't allow that.
Prawn sandwiches in hand.
No. Just...
I'll make one point, sorry, so before we move on, because we are going to move on now. Firstly, Kevin's got an article that's going up next week about 10 things he would change about football, which is a really interesting read. Secondly, and finally, I would say that I was at the Ross County game, as I mentioned, with my father, and Celtic scored their second goal, I think, and I think it was in the 70th odd minute, and half the stadium left. I mean, literally just left to get the... I want to miss the traffic.
It was not 87 minutes.
Was it 87 minutes? Okay, fair enough. That's still 4 or 5.
Personally, I don't think you should ever leave the game early.
I've never left that. I've
never left a game early in my life.
If you get a tiny little child, if you get an elderly person, a disabled person with you, that's about the only way I could say.
Reverse it. If you've got that elderly person, that young child, that disabled person, stay on. Let everybody else go first. No, genuinely. The stadium itself empties in about 10 minutes. See a 60,000 seater stadium, it empties in about 10 minutes because there's enough exits. So if you're with the only word I can think of that comes to mind here that it might be wrong but is vulnerable. If you're with a vulnerable person, then just sit tight and let everybody else go, because see, your row, it'll empty very, very quickly. Now, there might be a few people trying to walk up to that and a few people walk down, but after a while they'll go, and then you can take your time and go. But see the people that go with that vulnerable person early, they fucking slow everybody else down anyway.
And what annoys me is when people leave and then Celtic get their chance and then they decide, I'm going to stop and get in the way of your view of what's going on. No, mate, you've decided to leave, you're a fanny, but you've got to go now. You should have sat down and you should have stayed, but, you know, if you've decided to leave, keep on going.
We can't not mention...
Zombies.
Zombies. He's mentioned that again. So, you know, when it comes to the Cynic podcast, we have a rundown. And Rangers, we don't want to talk too much about them, but Chris Sermanni wants to get tore the fuck into them. He said to me earlier in the week. And also,
that's a quote.
The versus this week is, I'll tell you now, it'll be
Rangers against old Rangers.
It's Ronaldo versus Ronaldinho. But Chris's first suggestion was Craig White versus Charles Green.
I like that.
which was an interesting one, ultimately. But
Chris, you could then go back to one of the first verses that we did, which was Pirlo, Scholes and Xavi. Because you could do White, Green and David Murray. Who fucked Rangers most?
Who did fuck Rangers most?
Okay. You'd have to turn around. Who started the demise of Rangers? Would that be David Murray? Or did the press just
Murray. See if you're going down that road. Murray fucked Rangers more than anyone else.
No, what he didn't do. He didn't walk all over them though.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. You can't.
You made it nasty there.
Yes.
You should have just left it.
Yeah. This is disabled friendly podcast. Stephen Hawkins, if you're out there, we'll love you, brother.
Come up the stairs and meet us.
So Walter Smith walked away. What are your thoughts on that? Boud, I'll ask you actually first. What are your thoughts on Walter Smith? Genuinely, let's actually be, from this point of view, as much as we'll take the piss, I'm actually, I don't follow it anymore, so what are your thoughts on it? Okay.
Sorry.
No, jump in, Chris.
Jump in there, right. Walter Smith is the epitome of what's wrong with Rangers, right? He was very happy to take a wage off of the last regime. Well, when I say the last regime, when everything was going supposedly okay with Charles Green and stuff, he was very happy to take a wage, right? But, you know, when something looks apparently wrong, he goes like, "Oh, I can't be doing with this. I can't be doing with this. Oh, I'm going to quit.
Is he Jimmy Savile? I can't be doing with this. I can't be doing with this.
No. He's
What was he doing with the boys' club then?
Well, there you go.
Does anyone think much has changed in the last few days since Walter Smith's resigned? No.
Well, Chris, I'll agree with you. I think we spoke about it last week there. Walter Smith, as you said, when the good times were good, he's happy to bask in glory. I think he likes to indulge himself in the 9-in-a-row manager. You're not. You only got 6 of them, so you're not the 9-in-a-row manager. When you realised that things were going Pete Tong, you turned around and gave your inexperienced assistants a glowing recommendation and said you are the man to take over. You allowed your
good runs in the cup.
I had a good run in the fucking toilet there, so I did. But you gave your Padwin the chance to take over when it was a fucking shit time to take over, and we're happy to do it. You hung McCoist out to dry once. He came back as a chairman there, Sir Watty, of the Waistcoat Brigade, and you fucked off yet again when you didn't like what you seen. You decided to walk away.
One thing about
McCoist, at least McCoist is sat around. McCoist is taking the fucking grief. McCoist is turning around. He might not be the greatest manager, but I tell you something.
He might not be the greatest manager. He might be close to dying of heart disease.
Aye, because can he seriously still be referred to as a heartthrob? See that guy who used to see the past?
His heart throbs due to the fact that it's really quite,
clogged with fat.
Imagine you really shouldn't talk about haircuts, but McCoist is going bald as well just now. He's fucking.
Listen, my wife, right? I'm going to let you in on a secret here.
She never did, she?
Listeners. No, she never shagged McCoist, do you know what I mean? But when she was young, she said, "Oh, he used to be good looking, but look at the Nicky him now, he's really fat." Right?
What did she say once you picked her up off the ground after that?
Kevin, I would slag your wife, but it's Chris's sister, and I've never met her, so I've got no reference point to what she looks like. But anyway, back to my wife.
Slutty blonde. Go slutty blonde.
Slutty blonde. Right, but anyway, she thought he was attractive when she was young, and now she said he's a fat mutant.
Yes.
You really can't fucking say she's in any way wrong, My wife knows nothing about football, but she knows
enough.
That cunt.
She knows
really
enough.
Is very close to getting put down.
She knows what.
Edit that if you fucking will.
That will not be edited. Charles Green coming back, criticising the team, criticising.
Sevco are now referred to as the club that keep on giving FC because they genuinely fuck it up every single week. 22 million down to Swanee within 7 months.
What, Chris? I'll genuinely ask your point of view. What's going to happen?
Because they don't trust us to.
No, you just call somebody a cunt, frankly. So, but no, genuinely, I mean, the three of us think about it. What is going to happen with Rangers?
Craig White and Charles Green are going to make more money. So what's going to happen? And
are they in cahoots or?
I think they were in cahoots. I think it went foul. I think they're both in line to still generate cash from this whole fucking mess.
Is Cahoots a nightclub in Monaco?
I think Prince
Is
Albert
actually-
of Monaco owns it. And according to that documentary, he's big friends with Craig White.
I think Craig White has got his cock pierced, which the Rangers fans will realise as he rams it up their arse repeatedly.
We had a camera here because there was a lot of thrusting.
When are the Dallas Cowboys getting involved with Rangers?
That was the big rumour.
There's been Cowboys involved with Rangers going back. Oh.
Glasgow Cowboys, Leeds Cowboys, Sheffield Cowboys. What's going to... Rangers are just going to go bust or some shit, eh? Yeah, again, they're going to go into
It
liquidation.
doesn't matter though.
Genuinely,
That club
if you die once and you come back and then you die again, there is only word that can be described, and that is zombie. Zombie. That is the only word you can describe.
Kev, you really don't know much about zombies at all.
Nobody does except us. Just leave them. It's fine.
So that means you're zombies?
Yeah, well, zombies are my natural enemy. But see if Rangers die, which they
So
probably
what
will.
does that make you then, if you're zombies in this one?
A zombie killer, I guess. Yeah,
Buffy?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Kev.
We spoke about it the other day.
I am...
Your pop culture references are
Kev,
ridiculous.
you're old. Let's just clarify. Rangers are dead, and if they die again, Sevco are dead. Rangers can't die twice.
Absolutely. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do
On to the Serie A.
Does it? No. Before we get to Serie A, do you want to make any? This is the Drunken podcast. So, Chris Sermanni, do you want to say anything really offensive about Rangers?
I really like them.
Don't speak ill of the dead. That's...
It's all about respect.
No, I don't have anything negative to say about them because they're fucking dead, and I'm really happy.
But pulled in just behind the bridge, he lays her down. He frowns, gee, my life's a funny thing. Am I still too young? He kissed her then and there. She took his ring, took his babies. It took him minutes, took her nowhere. Heaven knows he'd have taken anything. All night, she was a young American.
Today, for Aberdeen, weirdly enough, Nicky Weaver played in goals, and Nicky Weaver, myself, and the other two Chris's, the three Chris's basically, are huge fans of, or were fans of, Championship Manager. It's different now, it's Football Manager. But Nicky Weaver was always a very prominent player, wasn't he, Chris? Chris
Yes, he was indeed.
Very good player in the Championship Manager. We're just asking, the three of us will take up this kind of point. Favourite Championship Manager signing? Do you have one, Chris Sermanni?
I'm going to go back to Chapman 97-98.
Okay.
Back to the last millennium. I always liked Tommy Svindal Larsen. You remember him?
Yes.
Norwegian central midfielder who could also play on the left. He was the linchpin of my Celtic team that won the European Cup.
Lovely stuff. Kennedy back at... How do you pronounce that?
I don't know, but I'm going to pretend I do.
Bakircioglu.
I always said Barsiglioglu.
Barsiglioglu. He was the... I always bought him. Every time I bought him, he was fantastic. He became...
What the fuck are you talking about just now?
Yeah, we're talking about Football Manager.
Granda Kev there.
Sit down, Grandpa.
Taking all the weather's original.
That's it. Put your teeth back in. Kennedy back in.
As you said to your girl.
You just threw me there. Well done. You affected me. Central midfielder, fantastic.
As you said to your girl.
Became a World Player of the Year for me personally. Great. Zlatan was also brilliant when he was at
the same time
Malmo.
as Kennedy.
Yeah, it was with Malmo as well. Chris, anyone that kind of hits for you?
There's a few people. If you go back, because really it's Football Manager after a certain when they split up. But Champman, I think Champman 4 maybe, and before that, Neil Lennon was actually the best player in Championship Manager.
Mark Kerr was another one who was fantastic. I signed Mark Kerr and Barry Ferguson for Arsenal, and they won the title. And then I killed myself because I realised I signed Barry Ferguson. So
Yes, and that's
signing a Hun is that's
you lose.
murderable offence.
I also signed a young Iniesta for Celtic. Cost me about £8 million, but I was delighted with that.
Yeah. Because that would happen. And Even in Chapman.
It did.
Did it?
Yeah, obviously I'd won the Champions League already, and it was before I'd even heard of who Iniesta was as a player. I just found him, he had 20 for passing. So,
Hold on a second. You're the guy who discovered Iniesta, is what I'm fucking hearing from this.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so moving on from that, the second question when it comes to Premier League, etc. EPL player to shine this season. Now, we talked about this briefly. Kevin, what was your point? Who did you choose, and who did I pick in my fantasy team?
It was just the way it sort of came out was, I thought, for value for money, I think Jose Altidore will be a great signing this season. I think for £6 million, it's a guy that's going to score a few goals. And in regards to when I made the statement, Chris, you sort of shot me down, and disgust and fear and a lot of trepidation were in your eyes when I said it. And then you went and put him in your team of the season.
On the line with us, we've got 90MinuteCynic contributor from across the water, Michael Chapman. Michael, what are your thoughts on Jose Altidore and how he's going to do this season?
I think he's going to do okay. He's physical. He likes to play with the ball to his feet. He's not very good in the air. I think 5 or 6 goals actually is going to be a good return. Maybe not what the Sunderland fans want to see, but he's going to a new league. It took a while for him to get going in the Eredivisie. So I just think it might take a little bit. Maybe next season, if he's still there, he'll probably do a little bit better.
Say the last 2 seasons, was it not something like a goal in every second game he scored?
Yeah, but I mean, he was there the year before and he looked like shit. I mean, it takes him a while. It took him a while. He's played at other clubs. He played in Spain for a little bit, and he found his niche. And I'm afraid that him leaving the Netherlands is going to expose him. I don't know that he can play to the speed that the PL is used to, or how they play.
No. I know his first time with Hull in the EPL, it didn't go down that great. I thought the games that I've seen, as you described them, they're physical. I thought he was physical. I thought he'd a little bit about him, but very maybe immature at that time. I don't think he was ready for it. I think the fact he's went away maybe blossomed a little bit in another league, and is maybe now ready to come back. 6 goals, I don't know. I'm obviously I'm sticking my neck out here because he's a guy that I'm sort of promoting, but I think he'll maybe do a little bit better.
No, that's fair. Hey, look, I'm wrong more than I'm right. So, and from a U.S. perspective, I'd be very happy for him to succeed. From a Newcastle fan's perspective, I hope he doesn't do anything.
You'll be fucking shit. We were talking about Hull earlier on and about how terrible Hull is, innit?
It's a shithole. It's a shithole. Michael, and sorry, moving on to a different subject, and sorry to do this, Christopher. What's your thoughts about going back, Fulham, Spurs guy, Dempsey? Clint Dempsey now being the sort of poster boy of MSL football? MLS, sorry. I'm dyslexic.
I'm torn. I want the league to succeed. I don't know that this is the best way for the league to succeed. I mean, a lot of people that are saying that this is a good move, they're saying it's a good move because they think that having a big name men's national team player back in the States is going to help the league. To my argument, if they're watching the MLS and if they're watching the PL and they already know who Dempsey is. That they're already watching. They're not attracting new fans. There's a glass ceiling to soccer fandom in the U.S. where you're only going to get a certain amount. I don't know. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the league itself to have an excellent player, but for him to be the most expensive player that we have in the league, I'm just not sure that it's going to give them what maybe they want from a league perspective as far as new fans.
Okay, so what we're going to do is Chris Sermanni. We're going to bring you. We're going to bring Michael and Chris in, and we're going to start talking about the Premier League. We can kind of focus back. Have you got any more questions about the MLS?
No,
James?
on you go. Sorry,
Chris?
I just there's a question I wanted to ask.
Chris, who is your EPL player to shine this season? Who do you fancy?
I've really got a feeling about Navas playing for Man City. I think at the Confederation Cup, he showed something different from Spain. You know, his pace, the way he gets to the byline, and it was different from what we're used to from Spain. I think City lacked a wee bit of something different last season. That's what kind of took them back a level from the season prior to that. I think Navas will add something that could take City to the Premier to the title this season. So my tip's Navas personally.
Yeah, I thought Navas was excellent in the Confederations Cup. He came on as a sub. What was it? 3 of the games, 3 out of 4 of the games.
Yeah,
and I thought he was excellent.
What he does, he gives them the option of counter attacking, and they didn't have that last time round because their ability. When you say about taking somebody on the outside on it, and a strength of Navas to be able to put the cross in.
It's not.
When they had Silva and Nasri, and what their strengths are like inverted wingers, where they'll come in.
Well, that's absolutely it. I mean, you're talking about hitting them in a counter attack. A lot of the time when they were chasing the game, they had lots of possession, but they were always trying to go through the middle. And
always cutting inwards, yeah.
Absolutely, and I think Navas will take it wide.
And the 3, I know they've got 4 strikers: Jokovic, Negredo, Dzeko.
Jokovic, does he not play tennis?
Jovetic, thank you.
Jovetic isn't a striker, though.
Jovetic, yeah, he's not.
I always had him as strikers, my apologies.
He's not a striker.
And Aguero. But
Aguero wasn't a striker when he joined Man City, but he is now. So, I mean, maybe they're looking to change Jovicic's. You know, you watched a lot of Fiorentina last season, and actually, funnily enough, Chris Boud, when I spoke to him earlier on, I says who, you know, because he wasn't on the radio show, who you on the pitch, and he says, well, I would earmark Jovetic, but I think Chris Sermanni's going to pick him. As it's because you talked about how good you thought Jovetic was last season.
Well, yeah, just to say, is Michael still on the line?
Yeah, Michael's still here.
Michael, I'm a Fiorentina fan. I'm not a Roma fan. I'm just a Totti fanboy. Can we just make that clear right now?
Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, okay. But how good is Totti?
Listen, we could be sitting here talking about this. Could be a Totti / Del Piero podcast, podcast for the whole time. But
we're not going there.
Jovetic, I think he's an excellent player. I think. Yeah, sorry.
No. I think Jovetic. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure how he's going to do it, Man City. I think he's a superb player, but I'm just not sure if they're going to utilise him the way they should, because he was the main man at Fiorentina. I don't know if he's going to take the same role at Man City, and I don't know. I'm just kind of unsure about how he's going to perform for them.
So, Michael, we're going to come to you, and at any point, if you've got a point to make, just shout out that you want to make a point when we're discussing stuff. Who's your EPL player to shine this season?
This might be obvious, but I think Boney will do fine with Swansea. I really liked him when he was in the Eredivisie. I think he's an excellent player. I mean, he's not going to score a goal a game like he did there, but honestly, I think maybe people are, I don't know, they're not giving him enough credit. They're not giving players at all that come over from the Netherlands enough credit personally, and I think he's going to do really well. I think, probably 10, 12 goals by the end of the season.
Michael, a little bit about it is maybe the snobbery of it, where they think it's not a good enough league, and if you can score that amount of goals, you should be better, or you should be able to do better than what you are, maybe when you come over to Britain.
I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, you're saying that that people. Maybe I had a bad connection. You're saying that people are are giving enough credit to teams that play in Holland?
I think what Kev's saying is that there's maybe in the UK or maybe English media, there's a little bit of disrespect almost towards the Dutch league. And therefore that's why maybe people... Yeah.
For maybe every Alfonso Alves, you've
Suarez.
Yeah, you've got... For every Alfonso Alves, you've got Suarez, and they're... maybe they're disregarding, Suarez and Van Nistelrooy, and they're kind of bumming up, the Alves and maybe even the Samaras, the guys that didn't do so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand. I mean, I guess it's a matter of not, you don't watch a league very often. You don't get to see the intricacies of what they do, what the individual players do, and there's only so much time in a day to watch soccer. But for me, because it is one of the leagues that I watch most often and what I write about, everybody, as an example, Eriksen. I wrote that piece about Eriksen. I just think that Eriksen is a complete player, and I kind of half jokingly and I kind of half am serious when I say I think he's better than Fabregas. Eriksen is a complete player. I mean, he can do everything, and he's amazing. And the fact that he would go for 15 is really, 15 million euros is really more what you're saying about the financial situation in Holland more than anything else, as why it's so cheap.
Michael, as someone who doesn't really see much Dutch football, the fact that you said that Eriksen is better than Fabregas, really? I mean, I really need. Is he that good?
I think he is. And maybe that's clouding my judgment because since Fabregas moved to Barcelona, I've been disappointed with him and the production there. And yeah, he hasn't played as much as he did at Arsenal, but at Arsenal, obviously everyone was really impressed with him. So maybe, the last couple of years in Barcelona have not been the best example of his product, but
just sorry, just to interrupt, Kevin, you're shaking your head there.
On the Fabregas, I've never I've never sort of looked upon Fabregas as being a world class player. I've never thought he's been that good. I think there was a massive clamour by the English press to try and promote him into the Spanish national team when he was nowhere near as good enough as
Xavi,
Iniesta or Alonso. So they were three people that were ahead of him within his age group. And now what you've got is you've got people that are younger than him coming behind him. Rodriguez, Busquets.
Yeah. Just to interrupt that, I don't rate Fabregas anywhere near as high as a lot of the guys you've said. But let's not.
He's one of the best midfielders.
He's a fantastic football player.
Yeah.
One of the.
I don't use these words.
I don't think he suits Barcelona's system. I don't think he suits Barcelona's system if the Barcelona system is Pep's system. But I really had to step in there, Kev. I don't want you to denigrate that Fabregas. I think he's fantastic.
You had to pull rank there, frankly.
I hate the guy. I despise him. No. Honestly, I just wanted to get back in there. I hate him. I don't know.
Any top team would be happy if Fabregas is part of the squad.
Yeah, definitely.
Why did Barcelona not happy with him then?
Well, I'd say part of his squad. I wouldn't say he should be pushing
if you're supposedly this world class player, then you should be first name.
If any club in the world would be happy to have him in the team, you should be first on the team sheet. Is he as good as Ozil? I know it's different kind of positions, but ultimately, is he as good as Ozil?
Is he as good as Modric?
Yes, he's better than Modric. I'm going to sound like a dick here, but he's not as good as Ozil.
Well,
Ozil's better than both of those.
What's Michael's thoughts on that little last exchange there?
Michael, what do you think about that?
Özil's better than both of them. Yeah, absolutely. Özil's even better than Eriksson.
But one point, sorry to interrupt, but Michael, Royce is better than Ozil.
That's tough. I don't know about that.
No, what are your thoughts on Fabregas then? Go on.
No, I mean he's a very good player in a bad situation in Barcelona, but I mean if you're asking me whether Eriksson is better than Fabregas, honestly, I think he is. Like I said, I watch more of Eriksson every week, so maybe that's part of it. I'll be honest with you, but Eriksson can do everything. He can play up front, which this nonsense of Fabregas playing up front, that's ridiculous. The people that are saying that have blinders on. It's just absurd. Whereas Eriksson can run the show in the midfield, which, yeah, Fabregas can. But all things being even, I think Eriksson's got that one little thing where he's a little bit more of a complete player.
So what is your APL player to shine this season overall?
Oh, Boney. Wilfred Boney.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you brought it in. Okay, actually, so what we're going to do is we're going to move on. So, Michael, we'll come to you. So just if you've got any point to make, just kind of put your hand up. I guess that's hard for you to do, but just shout out your point.
Is that valid, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll start with... actually, do you know what? We'll start with... Before we start with what's happened today, Suarez has apologised and he's back in the Liverpool squad. Now, I'm going to come to Chris Boud because Chris Boud used to always pick Liverpool as his team in Football Manager. Chris Boud, as a Liverpool fanatic, frankly, is what I'm putting on you. What are your thoughts? No, a serious note. Suarez is done. He can't play for Liverpool anymore, can he?
Do what David Murray couldn't do. Stand up for the 96.
Jesus Christ. First of all, his apology, is he just apologised for all of his life and everything that he's done? Because there's a big apology that Suarez needs to make. However, he's a very, very talented player and Liverpool are a bit shit just now. So I don't see why he can't play for Liverpool right now. Because frankly, he's capable of scoring goals that they need. And you know what? See, after about 2 or 3 matches, I'm sure the fans will get right back behind him.
Kevin, thoughts on that?
Said it a wee while back there. Football's a business just now. Suarez is an asset. Liverpool PLC cannot afford that asset either not to be playing and depreciating in value, or they have to play him to increase his value, one or the other.
It's quite a good point about the whole depreciating of value, but continue.
It has to be. They have to play him. Man City was the one club in world football that could afford to allow a player that disrespected the club, the hierarchy, the whole ethos of football. And they decided after a while not to do it and brought Tevez back into the fold. So when you've got a club that's that rich that allow it to happen, then somebody like Liverpool have to allow it to happen. Unfortunately, as I said, football's a business now.
Chris Sermanni?
Suarez...
he's a wank, but, what's your points on him?
Whatever about him being... See, this whole summer, he's been overrated. He's been overrated by... what he supposedly would have done to Arsenal if they had signed him. Ha, 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 ha. And he's been... He's underrated as in what it would do to Liverpool if they had left him. If he leaves Liverpool, they could go mid-table. Seriously, because they've got nothing else up front. Liverpool without Suarez are really, really poor. So, I don't know what's going to happen with him. Fuck knows. He'll probably stay at Liverpool and they'll probably finish 5th or 6th. He's not going anywhere near Arsenal because they're shite.
Great analysis there, Chris. Michael, thoughts?
The only place Suarez goes is Real. And if that's not going to happen, which it doesn't look like it's going to happen, he's going to be at Liverpool for this year. I think they listed him as having a knee or an ankle problem last night before the match this morning. That's everybody knows that's just to hide the fact that Rodgers is pissed at him and doesn't want to play him. But he'll have to play him, and at some point, so they're just protecting him there. But the only place he'll go is Real. He's probably too big of a name to go anywhere else. This idea that somebody like, I couldn't imagine that Pep Guardiola and Bayern would want a mess like him to come in. It just doesn't seem right.
So I can't imagine Pep Guardiola turning around to his brother and saying, "Could you give me one of your players that you have in your books and I'll sign them?" They've done that with Thiago. A player that it's not
Don't
as if
need.
The Bayern Munich didn't need to strengthen their midfield, but they took somebody. You have to look at that.
Well, wait a minute. Pep knew Thiago. That's completely different. Pep knew exactly what Thiago was and what he could do. That's
Why didn't he play him?
Because he was a kid at the time.
He will. No, if I can jump in, he will. He's absolutely right. Thiago was brought into the Barcelona club, into the senior team by Guardiola. He wanted him there. He's going to be there. He's probably going to take the place of somebody like Kroos, as far as, which I hate because I liked Toni Kroos when I was younger.
Well, that's
he plays at the Thiago plays as a holding midfielder.
the guy can't tackle for a start
for them, but he's they've let Gustavo go because Gustavo went to Wolfsburg today, but Schweinsteiger and Martinez, two far better players than Thiago.
Thoughts?
Debatable.
You think it's debatable?
Thiago's all potential. He's all potential. Is he potentially better than both of them? Yes. Pep knows him better than any others.
What do you think about it, Michael? About what Kevin says about Schweinsteiger and Martinez being better than Thiago?
Well, right now, yeah. I mean, Thiago was just in the under 21 Euros. I mean, he's just a kid in that sense. So right now, yeah. I mean, I can't disagree with that. In the future, I don't know. Schweinsteiger, pretty damn good, all his career, but yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a debate right now over that, but in the future there might be a debate over it.
It's potential. That's my argument. I mean, right now it's probably true, but potentially, Thiago, whatever you think about him, there's a lot of potential there, and someone who's worked with him for a long time. Pep definitely has. He knows better than most of us.
We're basically talking. Sorry to interrupt, Chris, but we're basically talking about the Schweinsteiger leaving, aren't we? Because ultimately you can't. And that.
No, let me jump in. Schweinsteiger, I mean, he's on the tail end of his career. He's not going to be playing that much longer.
28-year-old.
What's that?
Is he not only 28 years old?
Well, he's not.
I'm sure I might be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he's got.
28 is not the tail end of your career.
He's got what, 3-4 years left?
28? What are you talking about?
That's American shit you're talking about.
We're not talking about ice hockey. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you can't fight anymore.
This isn't Aldo Green.
He's not going to play until he's 35 or 37.
Schweinsteiger, I think, will. The position, the way he's developed as a player.
He'll fall back into a centre-half position.
But he won't do it. I think the overall point is he won't do it at Bayern.
Yeah, over 32 years old, he's not. Thiago's going to be at the point where he's taking over Schweinsteiger if he's still in
That's
Bayern.
8 years away, Boud. That's 8 years away.
4 years away.
Oh, sorry, 4 years, my apologies, but 4 years. When you've bought somebody for £24 million, paying them X amount of money that you're paying them a season, and you're 4 years away from the replacement. No, but that is. That's Anderson. It's at Man U for Paul Scholes.
Which Chris Sermanni mentioned when we came in the pub. £25 million. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to actually we'll move in to predictions for the season. So. First manager sacked, Kevin Gillespie. Now, Michael, hold your breath here. First manager sacked, Kevin Gillespie. Who's the first manager going to be sacked in the English Premier League?
Right with Ballon Dardu.
My apologies here, okay? My apologies. I didn't realise we were doing this with you today when I was asked this question, but it's the Frenchman Alain Pardue is going to be sacked.
So he's the first one to go. Why is he the first one to go, Kev, for you?
Because
He's a shite.
No. He's actually, yeah, there's a wee bit about him. He's a one-season wonder. He does get quite a bit out of his team in the first season, but unfortunately, it seems to be there's a massive instability about Newcastle just now, and the point of Joe Kinnear has only highlighted a fractious board. Lambadis, when he left, Eric Lambadis, who's a very decent sort of forward-thinking executive higher up in position, was really, really good for Newcastle. The fact that he's no longer there actually creates a lot of problems, and Joe Kinnear, as Director of Football, I think his title is, will result in...
Wank, I think his title is.
Can I interrupt you there? You've went off at a tangent and you've tried to explain things. I think the reason Pardew's going to get sacked is that Newcastle and Pardew are fucking shite. Mr. Chapman, can we have your point on it?
I went to... You got it in a nutshell, and I went too much. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Michael, what's your rebuttal?
I have a rebuttal about Newcastle being shit, because we're not. That's for sure. I don't have a rebuttal that Pardew's going to not be the first manager fired. He probably will be. But that doesn't necessarily mean that any of this is his fault. I mean, this has to fall on Ashley's feet.
True.
Point. Mike Ashley, there are rumours going about Mike Ashley going to dump Newcastle to buy Rangers, or the Rangers.
Let's hope so, because he's a clusterfuck.
Is he the guy buying all the shares? Is that right? Well, the next guy he meets in a nightclub, he could give the job to, because that's what he did with Pardew. So we're all going to go to the local waterfront nightclub and just hopefully be in charge of Rangers at some point. So first manager sack, Kevin has Pardew. Michael, first manager sacked this season in the Premier League. Who's your pick?
Sadly enough, I think it's Pardew. It feels like they're setting him up to fail. I'm just shocked that maybe I shouldn't be. I mean, everybody says Ashley's kind of an idiot, and that's fine. But we just seem to be on a roll. And last year, we had a bad year, but I thought we could come back from that. I don't have any problem necessarily with the way Pardew uses tactics or anything like that. Yes, Cisse shouldn't play on the right. We all hear that. That's fine. But, Pardew's probably going to be the first manager sacked.
I'm going to come to Chris Boud now.
I do kind of fancy Pardew, but just to be a bit different.
I think everyone's got Pardew down.
Sexually.
To be honest, Mark Hughes is fairly sackable. Let's be honest. If I was going to sack somebody, I would like to sack Mark Hughes. If I was a chairman sitting back thinking,
who am I going to sack?
Yeah, Mark Hughes would be up there.
Is it Mark Hughes?
Why not?
He's so wrong with that, isn't he?
Talk me through why you think he's wrong, because I think he's completely wrong.
He's completely wrong because...
Alan Pardew. Okay, I just wanted to change it up a bit.
No, Kevin, why is it wrong for Mark Hughes?
The Coates family, the family that own Stoke, have put a massive amount of faith into Mark Hughes, as it did with the...
we all put a massive amount of faith into Mark Hughes, and he always lets us down. So maybe they're going to smarten up and get sacked.
On that Boud, Mark Hughes has only let himself down in one club, and that's been QPR.
It's like you and Marek go fuck yourself. He's only let himself down in one club.
See every club he's been to. National team with Wales, he's done well. Blackburn, he's done well.
No, he didn't.
He's done well at Blackburn. He's done well at Fulham. The only club
he fucked Fulham though.
Yeah, he done
fucked
well.
everybody.
He done well.
Fucked him up the arse.
You've all been fucked up the arse, so you have. He's all fucked up the arse as well. But he's the only time he's failed is at QPR, which QPR in itself
poison
is a
chalice.
fucked up club.
Yeah.
Kev, what about Steve Bruce at Hull?
That's not Steve Bruce's fault that he's went to the shithole of the world.
Yeah, so Hull
It's better. It's even worse than St. Louis.
Well, to be fair, they've got a good goalkeeper in Alan McGregor, beast. Thoughts on the first manager sacked?
Alan Pardew. I really do think that he's fucked us.
We're all Newcastle United on this, I think.
Okay, so I'm different. The first person I think to be sacked will be Malky Mackay. Not because he's a bad manager, just because he's at a club that changed the colours of the strip, looking to change the name of the team, looking to change the badge. So these are guys
Business, Christopher, it's all business.
You're 100% accurate, and we'll see that from your article that goes up this week. Malky Mackay will become a victim almost of his own success because he got them out of the Premier League, and in the first season, I think these guys would expect them to push on to Europe the way they'll turn around and they'll say, well, look what Swansea did. Now, Swansea, it took 2 seasons, but, you know, the way they play football, and they lost their first game today. Yes. And unfortunately, you know, Malky Mackay, who played for Queen's Park, good fella, awful fucking footballer, frankly, but...
Scored against the dead team, though.
Oh, of course, yeah, fantastic.
Mackay will get Malkied.
He will.
Oh.
So Malky Mackay for me. Let me ask you this, Michael. What are your thoughts on Moyes? And how do you think he'll do?
Well, I mean, if we can take anything from today, they're going to be fine. It was the only one, I think, when everybody was talking about Mourinho and this or that, I didn't buy it. It made sense. It seemed to be the most logical thing to bring in Moyes to follow a Scotsman Scotsman, that whole thing. I think they'll do fine. I don't think they'll win this year. I think it's going to be Chelsea. They are probably going to finish third, and that's just more because they're changing. They're going to be changing things around and learning a little bit of new things from their manager and that sort of thing. But and everybody will panic, but there's really no reason to. They'll be fine next year. They'll probably end up winning it next year, but not this year.
So you think Man U are going to finish third this season?
Yeah, I've got them third.
Boud, where do you put Man U this season?
I think it's really hard. I think Michael could be right, in so much as I like Man City just because they've such a strong squad. Mourinho back at Chelsea. Chelsea look good if they sign Wayne Rooney. That's just ridiculous.
Chelsea just do not have the strength and depth at the back the way that a lot of other clubs do, and that's where Chelsea will struggle because ultimately, defensively, I do think they're going to lose Luis to Barcelona. I think he will go before the transfer window ends. Will they have time to bring someone else in? I don't know. Ivanovic last season was good. The season before he was great. I think he's on a downward spiral. So I think this whole Chelsea Mourinho coming back and Mourinho is going to inspire them to do. No, I think Mourinho has actually been quite classless with how he's came out and talked about Rooney. And I know it's his, and I get that it's his game, but I think it's him instantly come back thinking, right, who can I wind up? Because
But that's mind games. I say I think that's perfectly that's fair game. What has disappointed me?
I think he's trying to paper over the cracks. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Very much like we were all saying, Moyes should be making more moves in the transfer market. I think Mourinho should be as well. I agree with you in so much as there's room for improvement at Chelsea. We don't know what sort of money he's got, but you've got to imagine if Abramovich has brought Mourinho in, he's probably willing to give him a bit of cash to play with. And I expect more than just the money needed for Rooney.
As I said, in the radio show on Tuesday, and I know that Michael, you're obviously a fan of the Bundesliga, and you are as well, Chris. That Andre Schürrle, I think, is going to be. He was my standout player. I think because he's kind of under the radar when it comes to a lot of kind of UK football fans, because not a lot of people watch the Bundesliga. I think Andre Schürrle is talk about complete footballers when it comes to just attacking wise. You know, predominantly left-footed, but ultimately striker on the left-hand side of midfield, smart enough to actually drop back and play in midfield as well.
A poor man Sermanni.
Poor man Sermanni. Your thoughts, Kevin? What are your thoughts on Moyes?
I think Man U themselves, or Ferguson himself, when he knew he was coming up for retirement, all he really wanted was one of his former players to be there to take over. He'd have been desperate for...
Steve Bruce, I think, was the one that...
Bryan Robson would have been one. There'd have been a numerous one of these players, ex-Man U players, that he'd have been desperate for them. What he then looked at, or what then Man U would have looked at, would be world-class managers. And there's only a few world-class managers that are out there.
Who's the best manager in the world, Kevin?
Well, there's only a couple of them that are
Who's
good.
the best one in the world?
Ancelotti's the best manager in the world, so he is. But Ancelotti took on the big job, so he didn't. He took on Real Madrid.
For any listeners, Kevin is homosexually aroused by Carlo Ancelotti, which is fine. You know, he's married to my sister.
Be excited by the best, as you were about to say regarding your sister. But then what he did is he's probably went for, which is, I think, is actually quite nice to do. He's went for, let's see if we can maybe go for a British manager and see if we can sort of promote within. If we can't promote from within the club, could we promote from within the country? There was a lot of talk a few years ago. Martin O'Neill would have been the manager for it. There's your sort of equivalent. Martin O'Neill from 6-7 years ago is probably David Moyes just now, and that's why he's got the position.
Can I ask you this, Chris Sermanni? Is Moyes deserving of the role, of the job?
I think a lot of people would have thought that the next manager would have came from a select banding of the best managers in the world. Ancelotti maybe in there. Moyes, I don't think was, but Moyes is in the Ferguson mould, if we will, as in he's a grumpy jock. And, he's maybe not had won the trophies that he did before that he took on the Man United job. Is he deserving? I don't know, but I don't particularly rate Moyes in that bracket based on what he's done. But it's a bit of a risk. But I think the fact of the matter is, it's the sort of risk that I don't know. I don't think it's going to pay off, but it's a risk. I think it's a risk worth taking, because if it works out, you'll get longevity the way that they had with Ferguson, and I think that's why they're taking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's why they've went for him, because it's something to build on.
On that, the last 8 years, just go back the last 8 years of the EPL. The last 8 years of just world football. Man U have had one manager and won X amount of trophies. Chelsea have had X amount of trophies, but have actually won more trophies than Man U, just by chopping and changing. Longevity's only been proven once, really, in world football, and that's with Man U. That's an anomaly. That is the exception to the rule.
It's nonsense. They didn't. Jock Stein, Fabio Capello.
How long was Jock Stein at Celtic for? It wasn't 25 years, Chris.
Oh no, fair enough. But define longevity.
Was it Guy Roux? Was that the guy that?
Guy Roux was at Auxerre. The boy at 11. The boy Ukraine.
Alexander. Yeah, he done well.
Yeah, but Daniel Grady's not on the same place.
No.
How long was Guy Roux there? For
175 years.
What did they win?
Hundreds of stuff.
No.
They won the league. They won the French league, to be fair.
How many times?
10 times.
No. Let's see. Like you're talking about.
I get your point.
It's only happened. Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt.
That's why it's an anomaly. It's only happened once.
Listen, Man United were a big club before Ferguson took them over, right?
True.
But when he took them over, they were a pile of shite.
Yeah, true again.
Right. They hadn't won the league in, 26 years?
Did he make them a big club, or did Sky Football make Man U a big club?
He made them a big club.
Sky Football made every team in the Premier. They gave them all the same chance. Ferguson made...
No, they didn't give them all the same chance.
Put it this way, right?
Why did Sky Football try to buy Man U?
When did that happen?
Sky Sky B tried to buy Man U.
I'm not doubting you. I'm just
saying.
asking.
So what are you saying?
I'm not saying they
when Man U
prioritised
were playing games, you're saying a representative of Sky Sports, let's say Rupert Murdoch, stood up, fixed his tie, and then the ref gave a penalty to Man U, or Man U had to score a goal.
Anyway, getting to this point, look, I know we're kind of getting off a little bit of topic here, but Michael, in the US, how big are Manchester United in regards sports teams?
Oh, they're huge. I mean, really, club soccer, international soccer had only gotten really what's that?
Don't call it soccer, you fucking idiot. Call it football. How about that?
I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. I want to make it sound like I'm a typical American. But it's only been really popular here maybe the last 5-6 years. There were drips and drabs before that. But if you ever saw anybody walking around, it was always in a Manchester United top. And it made me sick, but that being said, that's what you saw. And it's only been in the last maybe 3, 4, 5 years or I guess the last 3 years that you've started to see other clubs. I guess maybe I'm being wrong about the timeline. It's maybe more like 5 years, and that came with all the satellite packages and all the other clubs and leagues you'd get to see and things like that. But yeah, Man United is probably the biggest club here. But that's from what I understand, that's no different than over there. What's the old adage that all the Manchester United fans don't actually live in Manchester or something like that?
Yeah. Very much so, yeah. Well, basically, I think most Manchester United fans are purported to be from London. They're all companies, sort of. In this country, certainly.
Well, in England, certainly. Scotland, it's maybe not, certainly Glasgow, maybe not so much an issue, if you will, because obviously most people are either Celtic supporters or were Rangers supporters. Although Man U tops are still pretty popular in Glasgow, I'd say. Can
I ask you a quick question, Michael? When it comes to we've had a couple of podcasts where we spoke to various American kind of Celtic fans in American Celtic fans. But as someone who you don't really have, other than us writing for the website and on the podcast and stuff, you don't really have that much of an affiliation with Celtic. How big, as an American native, how big would you consider Celtic in the grand scheme of kind of world football, and how big are they in America?
I mean, they're fairly large in America. There's a quite a link between Irish culture and the football club. And, for you guys, I don't know, that might seem a little weird, but Celtic are big on the East Coast, in Chicago. Funny enough, in Seattle. They're huge in Seattle. I got to go see them in Connecticut. I want to say it was 2004 when they played a friendly against Liverpool. And I was pretty surprised at just how many Celtic fans, American fans, walking around with Celtic tops on and that. I was pretty surprised at the size of them, and that was back in 2004. I can't imagine that it hasn't grown. Now, comparing that to Real or United or Chelsea or even City now, probably not. But if I had to rank them, they're definitely in the top 10 of world clubs that American fans identify with.
That's very, very interesting to hear from a kind of from a native like yourself. So we're just going to move on at this point and talk. Sorry, Kevin, you got a point?
This question, I may have missed this question from Milan. Michael, why are you a Newcastle supporter?
Honestly, I mean, I think I wrote that article at the very beginning about my fandom when it comes to soccer, and Newcastle had a contingent of Irish players like Shay Given and Stephen Carr, and I was a big fan of theirs for that. And then I saw Shearer. I saw that goal against Everton. I can't, off the top of my head right now, I can't remember the year that was. Was it like 01, 02, or maybe 2002? And he just stole my heart at that point. And it just kind of went from there. You know, they remind me of the Chicago Cubs. And for the listeners that aren't familiar, Chicago Cubs suck. They will never win. They haven't won the championship since 1908. And they're never going to win it ever again. But the Chicago Cubs fans fill up Wrigley Field every game, every season. They're always sold out. And they don't care. They love their team. And Newcastle and St. James Park, they make me feel the same way. I mean, you know, look at St. James Park is filled, even though we have kind of what is, you know, a shit performing club. And I became fond of that more than anything else.
Michael, I like the fact there, just listen to the way you were describing how your affiliation came around and such like, and it's a relatively short thing from the way you described your time scale involved in it, but you also described them as we, which is nice. I like that. No.
Is that what you're supposed to do?
Yeah, no, but I genuinely did like that. That was the promotion of your affiliation with them. You turn around and says, nah, I'm actually a supporter of them. That was good.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
So, like, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at, obviously, the APL. This was the first week, so I want the four Cynics that I'm with just now to talk about their champions and who they think is going to get relegated. Now, Kevin, we touched about this controversially, almost, about who you think is going to get relegated. And, yeah, what we'll do is we'll talk about champions first. I'll start, personally. I was very, very undecided about who I thought would be the champions of England this year. I think people are kind of expecting Mourinho to come back. I think people are expecting Mourinho to come back and just clear up. I think people are thinking it's 2003 for some reason. I don't think Chelsea have... Kevin, we said this when you were actually at the toilet. I don't think Chelsea have strengthened in the right positions. I think they've brought in some good players. I think Andrew Schürrle is going to be a fantastic player in England, but I don't think they've strengthened at the back. Manchester United, I just don't think they've not improved their squad. And obviously, you know, they were champions, so why would they have to improve their squad? I think other players have improved their squad to the point where they're going to have a harder challenge, and I don't think the challenge last season was as hard as it will be this season. So my pick, the Gallatron's pick for champions of England this season, yeah, that's my name. Sure point. Plug it. My pick will be Manchester City. I think it's down to the manager. I think they've bought well, and Manchester City for the title. So, actually, do you know what? We'll go to Michael. Michael, what are your thoughts? Who are going to be the champions of England this season?
Oh, I think it's Chelsea. I think they've got enough defensively. They're not going to sell Luiz. They're not. Get that out of your mind right now. It's not going to happen. They're just stacked when it comes to offense. Nobody plays with. I mean, I say nobody, but nobody plays with a striker anymore. Anyway, they've got 18 billion forwards that can score. They're going to be fine, and Chelsea's going to win.
I agree. I think Chelsea, with Mourinho in charge, they're going to have the metal that's needed to win the league. I think they've got enough up front. I think they've got a lot of creativity in midfield. I definitely think that Chelsea have got what it takes to win it. City, on paper, maybe will have a better squad, but Pellegrini, first season in England, I would have to lean towards Chelsea, the exact same as you.
I hate to agree with Gal, but I kind of fancy Man City. I think their squad is stronger. I think every position they've got just strength and depth. Not necessarily the best first 11, although they are really. I like the signings I've made this season. I like Pellegrini. I think he's a great manager. So I think Man City are very strong. I think I do, again, I've said Chelsea have got a chance. And I actually like Moyes as a manager, and I think he can succeed at Man U. However, Man U need to make some signings. So dependent on how the transfer window pans out, if Moyes does make a couple of very astute signings, then I could change my mind to Man U. But at this exact point in time, I think they still need to make a couple of signings and sort out the Rooney situation.
It's a fair point, Boud, because technically you should never maybe try to say who's going to win the title until the transfer window's finished, because once the transfer window's finished, you know that's a squad that's going to be there. When you were saying there about Chelsea, Chris, I think if you were to compare the two squads together, the only position out of the two squads that Chelsea have better than Man City is only at left back. Just at left back only. I think Man City's rest of Man City's team is better than Chelsea's team.
Midfield included?
Yeah, midfield included. I think if you're talking Yaya Toure, Fernandinho, Navas, Silva, Nasri, I think that beats their
Hazard.
Mata. Chris,
Surely.
I promise you, Mata. Yeah, he was my player last year. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable. I know, Chris, you're a big fan of Hazard. Sorry, yeah. I was struggling there for a wee second.
Hazard.
You're a big fan of him. Yeah. Oscar.
I like Oscar.
Who's
Christ, I mean
21.
That's why I'm.
And Ramirez as well. Even the wee boy that they took for. No, because he plays for Everton.
Yeah.
Morelos?
No, Ramirez. He said.
No, who's the boy that
Morales you were talking about there? I'm saying Morelos.
Is that his name?
The guy from Liverpool. He's not at Liverpool anymore.
It was a young boy they took from. I thought it was from the Championship. For the life of me,
Josh McEachran.
Nah, I'll come back to me. Sorry, my apologies, because I'm struggling with that guy there. But I genuinely do think that Man City's team is just a lot stronger.
So that's your pick as well.
It's Man City's, and a lot it's got to do with the manager as well.
Boom, that's it. Best signing of the season, the manager. When it comes to what you think about the players, you know, as much.
So wait, you said boom, you're going to move on that, right?
Moses,
and I'm just going to go. You're going to say that Pellegrini's a better manager than Mourinho?
Yes.
I disagree.
Well,
Michael, what's your thoughts on this?
Thoughts, Michael?
Mourinho is the best manager in the world. He must be. Hold on, let me finish. He must be because he calls himself the special one.
Oh, he's not.
Correct. No.
He's not.
Yes, he is.
Define this.
Wait, sorry, I'm not.
Michael,
I'm not even.
Michael, I thought you were an American wank, but it turns out you're not.
I'm not even disagreeing with whether or not Rooney. Mourinho's the best manager in the world. Was your argument there, Michael, that he's called the special one and therefore he is the best manager in the world?
No, my argument is that he calls himself the special one, therefore he's the best manager in the world.
That's a poor argument. That's a poor argument.
Listen, I'm on board with you, Michael, but that's a bag of shite, right? So what you want to say is I agree with Chris Sermanni.
I'm part of the Green Brigade.
Are you wearing a hoodie?
Because a very distant relative of Chris Sermanni manages my nation's female team. Repeat that, and
we're
all fey, my man. We're all fucking fey. That's a bit of French there, man.
Anyway, so
Don't fey.
Michael Chapman. Michael Chapman. What was your point?
If you're asking me who's better between Pellegrini and Mourinho, I honestly still say it's Mourinho. He's done it on more continents with more clubs.
He's only done it in one continent.
Pellegrini's done it in more continents with more clubs. You've got them mixed up there.
Michael, ignore them. They know what you meant. He's done it in more countries on the one continent.
He's done it in more countries and continents.
Listen, I'll tell you this, right?
He's peed himself a lot, is the point.
Listen, let's talk about. I'm going to talk about Gal here, right? See if you said the word Bielsa, he'd probably whip his penis out right now and masturbate.
What's your problem with that? He's the greatest manager of all time.
No, he's not. He's the greatest man. You know, he's the fucking Radiohead of managers, right?
Oh, I like it.
He's the fucking Radiohead of managers, right? I'm not saying he's shite. I'm saying he's the most fucking overrated technical manager of all time. People look at them and see what they can do, and then when they do it so much better. Thank you.
To be honest,
Sermanni out.
See, but no. Show over. Spot on.
So, Michael, talking about Mourinho. No, right. Well, okay. We've dealt with champion. Michael, we'll start with you. What are thoughts on relegation? I'll give you. Has anyone got their thoughts instantly on relegation?
Well, I done it on Thursday. I said two straight away.
Talk what you said on Thursday about why you think a big club's going to go down.
Well, I'll do my two straight away. The easy ones will be Crystal Palace and Hull. I think the lack of experience, and I know Hull have a few players that have had EPL experience and a manager that had EPL experience. Crystal Palace, Holloway himself was described as a manager with English Premier League experience. He says, 36 games? He highlighted that he doesn't have experience for it. I think he only has...
Who was the manager in the Premier League?
Blackpool.
Absolutely, sorry.
I think he only has 3 players in his whole squad that have EPL experience. So he knows that he's struggling.
Holloway?
Yeah, at Crystal Palace. They're not prepared to spend. I know they bought a lot. They spent a lot of money on Dwight Gale from Peterborough, but everybody else.
Fair Marcus Gale, personally.
You like a lot of the Gales.
I prefer Gale from Coronation Street.
That was the one.
A nice vagina neck. Listen,
Anyway,
Michael,
if you've referenced
Michael's never going to get in.
No.
Doesn't he? Watches it.
Let him finish going.
But yeah, there'll be the third club will be a fairly established one, and
you said
again,
Villa.
my apologies. Newcastle was one of them. Fulham, Stoke, and
you said Villa.
yeah,
as well,
that's
before the
Villa,
results.
and then obviously they went and host Arsenal today. But
Did you say Villa?
yeah,
Really?
I had
That's
them as
ridiculous.
I had them as one of the teams that would struggle. Honestly, Sermanni, I was got even the days Koopman, I had Arsenal to win. Who did you have?
What do you mean, even today's Cupid?
Sermanni, who did you have to win today out of Arsenal and Villa?
We all had Arsenal.
And a draw. I swear to God, I had a draw.
Anyway, Michael, talk us through your
I don't
relegation
believe in God, but
fodder.
Well, I've got Crystal Palace. I just don't think that they've got enough. I mean, Zaha was like their... he was their focus offensively. He was the guy that created the most. Obviously, they don't have him. Hull, because Steve Bruce is shit. And plus they changed their...
Fuck Hull. Fuck Hull.
listen.
Fuck Hull.
Yeah, as someone that doesn't live in the UK, you don't know how shit Hull is.
Listen.
But if you want to speak to Kev on that matter, he will.
Yeah, listen,
enlighten
you know, like, I'm fucking, I'm leaning back here, Michael, right, man? Like, see, I've been in listen, I was in America once, right? Fucking once, right? But I was in New Jersey, right?
We can tell from the kind of Italian accent that you're...
Hey, yo, I was in New Jersey.
You should do. You should forget about it.
Oh, that's the
See,
worst
I was in New York, right?
Yeah, it's the worst thing
New
I've
York
ever heard, Kev.
has got fuck all in Hull. That's how bad Hull is.
It's a fucking hole. Anyway, Michael, so what was your first pick again, sorry?
We had Crystal Palace.
Palace, Hull.
Crystal Palace, then Hull, and then, of course, Sunderland.
Oh!
Right, it's my turn here, right? We've got Crystal Palace. Chapman. I want your...
What's that?
Yeah, Crystal Palace. I want you to go,
What's that?
Give him an affirmative. I don't know.
Right, okay, here we go. Crystal Palace, Hull and Newcastle.
Ooh. Thoughts, Michael?
That's absurd.
What? Can I interrupt on Sermanni's?
That's nonsense to even bring those. You shouldn't even mention those three together.
You yourself had suggested Pardew was most likely to be sacked first.
Doesn't mean they're going to get it.
So does it make it? Is that not? Would those two things not tally up? A manager being sacked and a team being relegated?
No, because they're going to bring in another manager who will get them fired up. They'll want to play for him, all that kind of metaphorical crap that people talk about. And in the end, they'll stay up.
Joe Kinnear. Joe Kinnear is going to save Newcastle, Michael.
Hey,
is that what you're saying?
Biddy, you're joking here.
Yes, I like that.
I'm Bowdy. I'm going to... Was that okay? Was that good? I'm not really, I'll give you my relegation fodder will be Crystal Palace. What's going on? Crystal Palace, Hull and Crystal Palace, Hull and Swansea.
Shut the... Swansea.
Whoa.
He doesn't even know the word football. He calls it soccer and he went, wow.
Dude, your shit is wet.
There you go.
Your apples are bananas.
Chris Boud, relegation fodder.
Crystal Palace and Hull are obviously relegated.
They are good.
They are both finishing top 6, 7.
If I was Asim Alam, I wouldn't call them the Tigers, I'd call them the Pussies. I know what that means.
I'm going to go a wee bit out.
Oh, come on.
Don't leave Kev hanging. West Brom was my...
Oh, you fucking idiot!
Whoa.
What the fuck?
Hey, they've signed Nicholas Anelka. Come on, to fuck.
I know that Nick is going to give all for the jersey. He's going to bleed, sweat and tears.
Listen, hey, I'm sitting here in my pants, right?
I know.
We all are.
American versus Chapman.
Hey, silence. Looking at the Champions League qualifiers coming up, Michael, what are your thoughts on, and I'm going to come round to all the Cynics genuinely and think about this. Chris, you like an Italian football, obviously, is a big thing. PSV versus AC Milan.
Yes.
And, that's
That's an answer.
Arsenal versus Fenerbahce.
Yes.
So
These are fixtures.
So I'll start with Michael. Michael, thoughts on both those ties? Now, obviously, I'll bring up PSV versus AC Milan, and you're the Dutch football expert on the site, and arsehole here is the Italian guy. Michael, how do you think PSV will do against Milan?
Well, I think over two legs they'll end up winning it. I strongly encourage everybody to watch PSV, watch this match. They're young, but they are incredibly talented. So over two legs they'll win. They're just stacked. They're deep. It doesn't matter whether somebody's hurt or suspended or what. They'll be fine. They'll end up winning. Sorry, did you have a question about the other one?
No, just from a point of view of Milan. Milan, to me, they really haven't strengthened over the summer. They still look really, really weak. As I say, I don't really know much about PSV, but I wouldn't disagree in what you're saying, because I think they really lack in midfield. Milan. The fact is, Kevin Prince.
The Boateng is a fucking
Boateng. He's never a Milan central midfielder.
Do you think get rid of Ambrosini?
He's went to Fiorentina. Well, do
you think maybe? I personally think maybe he'd a season or two left, maybe in him, or.
Well, I don't. I think that's a decent signing for Fiorentina. I don't think it was bad for Milan to let him go, but they've not replaced him with anything.
Similar to kind of Pirlo almost.
big
He's
time.
not doing it for Milan, but he's got enough in him to do it elsewhere.
Ambrosini was no Pirlo, but
Yeah, no.
It's the same. It's the same story.
Pirlo goes on and wins championships elsewhere.
I understand
Milan
what
never.
you're saying. On the subject of Pirlo, I think this, and I'm a massive Pirlo fan, I think this may be one season too far for him.
Yeah.
Definitely do.
I thought last season was one season too far.
Yeah, but he fucked us at Parkhead.
Aye, it's not very fucking
wasn't-
hard when you get challenged in
That
midfield. So the point would be, so PSV versus Milan. So Michael, you're obviously going to focus on PSV.
Yeah, just one little thing. There is a young forward. He's like 17, 18 years old. He's Belgian, and I don't really know. I've only heard it pronounced a couple of times. Zakaria Bakali. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but the kid is something special. He over the international friendlies, he pulled a thigh muscle or something. He didn't end up playing, but if he's healthy and playing against Milan, those two ties, just watch him, because he's outstanding. He's something special. He's 17 or 18 years old, and he's just fabulous.
I've actually not seen anything of him, but I've read a few things about him, and I was actually considering speaking to you about him on Twitter. I mean, how much have you seen of him?
Really just this year, just the one or two, well, let's see, 3 games that I've seen him. I'm shocked at this. You know what? Honestly, you know who he reminds me of is Hazard with Chelsea now.
Is he not a forward?
Yeah, he is. What?
So he reminds you of Hazard?
Everybody plays. Look, this is the debate. Nobody plays with strikers. I mean, some teams do, but nobody plays with strikers anymore. You've got midfielders that are attacking midfielders, and then you have what you call a forward that really isn't. I mean, they're not strikers. They play in that gap, and to me, these attacking midfielders are basically playing, forward or whatever. But I don't think there's really that much of a gap anymore. It's an evolution of the sport that you see these guys doing that. I don't think comparing what you would call a forward versus an attacking midfielder, I really don't know that there's that much difference anymore.
There are, as you say, there are some players that are out-and-out strikers, but very much...
Does Kevin not disagree, though?
Kevin, you disagree?
There's a difference between a striker and a forward. Like you mentioned earlier on, Chris, about Ruud van Nistelrooy. Very much like a striker.
Ruud van Nistelrooy is a striker.
Yeah,
He's a striker of the ball. Yeah.
that ilk's gone now. But seeing if you're comparing an attacking midfielder to a forward, Van Persie's a forward. Van Persie's an out-and-out goal scorer.
No, Van Persie's a striker.
Is it going? Cavani, striker. Falcao, striker. A classic number 9, yes.
He's
There's still enough from there.
there's still enough.
But the general... I agree with Michael. The general...
The perception
game
is that you can move away from it. And we criticised Craig Levein earlier on by playing a game of football without a
There was
striker.
fuck all wrong we criticised.
No, we should all jump on that bandwagon. But I think Guardiola has been supposedly credited with playing a strikerless game of football.
Well, what did they do when
do that?
Well, sorry to interrupt, but Kevin, but what did they do when he first came in? He got rid of Mario Gomez, who's nothing but a number 9. Mario
I tell you
Gomez.
something, see that as a transfer of the season.
To
Was it
Fiorentina?
17 million?
Yeah.
17
But
million.
that's my point, though. So he walks in and he says,
I
"Look,
thought that would.
Fiorentina, I've signed quite a few good players.
oh, they've signed a."
Oh, you? No,
No, go.
I think they've almost played themselves into contention this season. They've signed Joaquin. They've signed a good few players, man.
See, just on
Serie A.
on Gomez himself.
Joaquin's
See if you were to speak about who the
Jovetic.
Grado, no, the
Oh,
Grado
Negredo.
at Man City. for which I think was in the high 20s.
It was higher than it was 28 million, I think it was.
Higher than they should have fucking
Oh,
been.
but I don't.
A lot higher than Gomez.
Higher than Soldado.
Well, that's my next one I'm coming to.
Soldado's a better player.
Yes, but is Gomez £10 million less a player than those two?
Yes, he's £10 million less player than Soldado. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
No.
Soldado's a better. Soldado.
Probably agree with Chris.
Soldado.
I genuinely thought Gomez was a great player to dominate a forward line. He's not as good as Mandzukic.
Oh no, Mandzukic is one of those kind of.
He is your ultimate one.
Do you know what Mandzukic is? Do you know Mandzukic? And this is no, not Mandzukic. Sorry. Do you know my personal problem with Gomez is for the size of the guy. He's almost as big as Ballack, right? He's that big. He's huge. But the point is, he doesn't dominate. From an aerial point of view, and from a...
you don't have to dominate from an aerial point of view.
Oh,
and that's
yeah,
what Mandzukic does. Mandzukic dominates a back four because he's mobile enough.
Mario Gomez has more in his locker than he ever is going to show, and that's his fucking problem.
An attacking forward.
I tell you
he doesn't need to be that one man.
Michael, you still on the line? This sounds like the Eurovision Song Contest. As if you fucking know what that is, right? But listen, Michael, I'm going to ask you something, and I don't even give a fuck if it's been taped, right? And I'm still a Fiorentina fan, but Kevin Strootman, right? I've been really kind of taken by him when you've showed me a couple of videos from him, right?
He's fantastic.
Well, honestly, like anything I've seen of Strootman's been fan-fucking-tastic. How would you compare Strootman to the likes of Eriksson? Where is you watch Dutch football? Where would you have Strootman compared to the likes of Eriksson?
Well, they're different players. Strootman, I would consider Strootman more of a true midfielder. If this is weird, it would help if I had a diagram. Maybe we can set that up next time. But Strootman plays, I guess you would want to call him a box-to-box midfielder, but he's not quite that. He kind of hovers around in the left side or the central part of the midfield, pushing up a little bit, but he delivers the ball. He would almost play, if you were thinking about it, if you were looking at Eriksson and Strootman on the same side, on the same starting 11, he would kind of play behind Eriksson so that he could deliver the ball up to Eriksson or spray it across the field to the left or the right. That being said, like I said, he's a different player, but he's just as impactful on his team as Eriksson is. It's just Eriksson, it's handsome.
That's kind of... That's kind of what I meant. I really meant what impact he would have on Roma. Because I know that Strootman may be behind Eriksson, but I know that he's going to be in front of De Rossi, and I know that they're not going to not play De Rossi. So I was wondering where Strootman would fit in at Roma.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Serie A recently to really say... how he'll fit in and affect Roma. If that's what they want from him, if they want him to be the guy that runs the show, that pulls the strings, so to speak, then he can definitely do it. He's fantastic at it. If they want him to play kind of higher up, like where Eriksson hovers, just maybe from, 18 yards to 30 yards away from the 18-yard box, I don't know that he can do that as well as Eriksson, if that's what you're asking. But it doesn't matter. Roma's going to win the league because they have Michael Bradley, and of course, if you have an American on your team, you're going to win the league.
Listen, don't laugh. Bradley's a good player. Bradley is a very good player. Listen.
Oh, he's a hell of a player.
See the thing is, right, as I say, I see when it comes to Serie A, I'm a Fiorentina fan, but because I want to shag Totty up the arse, I've always got like a. What are you laughing at? I've always got like a
soft spot.
Yeah, I've always got a vested interest in Roma. So, and I always will, just because of Totty. When Totty retires, I might hate them. But
Michael, I'm going to interrupt Sermanni here because I'm going to ask a question.
I'm a boring bastard.
Because you get no chat at all, mate. But the point is, it's something that's going to affect us all. Best right back in the world ever.
Easily, Chris. There's only one answer.
Relax.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
you
Michael
look
Chapman.
at me.
Michael
Don't
Chapman.
look at the fucking computer screen instead of me.
Michael Chapman.
Come on.
Best right back, and this is going to test your footballing knowledge. And I know you're as much of a football fan as us, but best right back in the world.
Michael, this is a historical thing for you here.
So from all times, boom.
You can go back to Roman times if need be.
From all time.
Yeah.
Best right back in the world.
All time.
Even when
Pre-television.
Even when Indians ran America.
Jimmy Carter wasn't even fucking born.
Cup of chia.
I'm asking. What the question I'm asking?
You're thinking out too much.
You're thinking out too much. Who's the best right back in the
Just
world?
shout out Cafu.
No. Jesus, thanks for putting me on the spot. Now I feel if any answer I give is kind of showing my ignorance.
Talk us through who if you got one. Do you know what? We'll come back to you, Michael. Right. So take a breath, think about it. We'll come back to you. Okay, Kevin, best right back in the world.
Did he get?
Oh, fucking! You should kill yourself. So
no. You have to quantify what you refer to as a...
It's one question, and you can quantify it on your own.
I'll quantify it.
Chris, you want to come to me first?
No,
shush. You in a minute.
You keep me.
Because you might have the same as me.
No. My favourite right back in the whole wide world was Jackie McManus. I love Jackie McManus as a right back.
So you think he's the best right back in the world?
I never said that. I said I loved him as a
Who
right back.
the best right back in the world?
The right back. It's fucking... There's too many players there. You can't do that.
Yeah, you can. I know the answer.
It's like turning around and saying Paul Pierce wasn't the best centre guard in the whole world.
I don't know what... That's a basketball thing.
Yes, it was.
You get that wrong, by the way. Jesus, Sermanni.
Harlem Globetrotters, my arse.
Harlem Globetrotters.
I like American football.
I was bad.
But basketball's for fannies. Right back. Right, come on.
I'm asking you.
Okay, I'm going to give you two.
There is only one that's
Pre my birth, I would say Carlos Alberto.
Okay, fair enough.
In my time...
Because of one pass in the World Cup that you've seen in the telly.
Oh, that's...
That's all the reason you know.
Wait a minute. It was against my people.
It's a 30-second clip that you've seen on TV, and that's why you come up with it.
My fucking people.
Do you know the clubs he played for?
No, I've not said that. I'm saying that's why he's saying
Do you
that.
know what? I'm not...
I'm talking to him.
Carlos Alberto. You know why I'm saying that?
Because you've seen a 30-second
he
clip.
slayed my people. Not even my people. Their people.
Oh, there you go. He's pointing.
Right. Do you know what?
See what he said about an 8. He's shit, Mass. It's a 16.
Right. Anyway. Well, that's the thing. Right. So.
It's an 8. It's actually an 8.
Right,
I don't know what the argument is. I was just doing a big jobby.
Right back.
You have. It's still
right back. I'll come back right back to you in a minute. So.
Zambrotta.
It was my second.
Who was your first?
My first was Zanetti. I think Xavi or Zanetti.
Just for the haircut alone.
I think he's the best.
Zanetti for me. Zanetti was a wee bit too Argentinian for me.
Oh, there you go. So go fuck yourself. Boud.
Sermanni just took it.
Oh, go on.
Our man.
Zambrotta. He was Zambrotta? No.
Obviously, people want to hear.
Michael, thoughts on best right back in the world?
Somebody yelled Cafu, and that's pretty good. I don't know. My brother, as a Bundesliga fan, as a German soccer fan, he would be happy if I said Bertie Vogt.
Whoa. Fuck Bertie Vogt.
Quick one. What's you and your brother's thoughts on Stefan Reuter?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I'd probably text him, but I don't know that he'd answer.
Phone him then. Just phone him and ask him.
Just hang up. Just fucking hang up. Stefan Reuter. You don't remember Stefan Reuter?
No.
Wait,
Michael isn't European.
Do you remember? Yeah.
Got to remember that. The other thing is, that just in case you don't know why we're so angry about Vogues, is that he did manage Scotland.
I think he
No, he didn't manage Scotland.
Stephen Royer.
It was okay.
Stefan Royer played for.
Right.
Côte d'Azur